All right, let's get into it, shall we? On this wonderful Sunday morning for week 8 of the 2021 fantasy football season. Greetings and salutations, everyone. My name is Andrew Kiorkof, and once again, welcome to our Kickoff with Kiorkof live stream. As for the next 2 hours, we will be talking all things related to the fantasy football season for week 8, of course. As we typically do, I will be answering questions, whether it is via donation that you guys send in or via the chat, regardless of scoring format. Just wanted to once again remind you guys, if you do end up sending in a question, whether it is even in the chat or via donation, please do let me know what the scoring format is, because that is the biggest determining factor on a lot of these rankings. But for those of you who are trying to find my current half PPR rankings, again, meeting everyone in the middle, whether you do play in a standard or a full PPR, that is immediately to the left of me, right over there. As you can see, we have our updated top 36 running back, wide receiver rankings, and top 16 updated quarterback and tight end rankings as of this morning. Now, I wanted to go ahead and preface and let you all know that, yes, Austin Eckler will be playing. He made that a, a point of emphasis yesterday to go ahead and publicly kind of show everyone via his Instagram that he will be playing, as he left himself in his own fantasy lineup this week on Yahoo nonetheless. So that's a given. I saw some people earlier in the chat prior to us beginning here today asking whether or not some of the Giants wide receivers were playing. My assumption is that yes, tomorrow Darius Slayton and Kadarius Toney will both be playing. There's a reason why they have already established Kenny Golladay out in that matchup, and they've already kind of given that the tip of the hat. He is out, and those two other wide receivers will be playing. So you do not have to worry about Kadarius Toney and Sterling Shepard. They are currently ranked, as you can see, on the list. Another thing that I wanted to go ahead and mention is, of course, the Dallas situation. What is going on with Dak Prescott? And can we potentially expect him to play? I currently have him at number 5, but I have the questionable tag next to him. Just want to go ahead and first and foremost establish this. If you do have a better option or someone that is probably a top 10 play and you don't want to risk it, you can go ahead and play that player and not have to worry about wondering whether Dak Prescott's going to play. If you do have Daniel Jones on your waiver wire and you're willing to pick him up and risk it, and then if in fact Dak does not play tonight, play Daniel Jones tomorrow during the Monday night game, then that would be your only other option. If in fact Dak Prescott does not play, I have put brackets and a number next to specific players: CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, and Dalton Schultz, basically demonstrating where I would adjust them if in fact Dak was to miss the game. So CeeDee Lamb, who is currently my number 9 wide receiver, would move to 18. Amari Cooper, who is currently my number 20, would move to 31. And Schultz, who's my number 9 tight end, would move to number 11. Just moving them down, readjusting the rankings. The running back positions, in my opinion, wouldn't adjust that much because they're going to run the ball as effectively as they have all season long, regardless of who's going to be under center. Either way, now that we've kind of established that and we've first and foremost given you guys a little bit of extra perspective, I want to thank you guys for showing up today, once again, supporting the channel with your viewership, smashing that like button because it does support the channel and help grow. Though you may think such a simple task that takes meaningless amount of effort and a split second of your time, trust me, in the entire grand scheme of the YouTube game, it does help in terms of boosting the algorithm and helping this channel grow on a daily basis. So I do appreciate you guys continuing to hit that button and support the channel that way. All right, so let's get to answering some questions. Hopefully, if in fact you have a question and you're asking it in the chat, hopefully someone in there, because I have seen there's a lot of you guys that are extremely generous with your time and have the ability to answer. That's awesome. If I'm not able to get there, hopefully by answering questions that are sent in via donation, I can answer your question via proxy of that, right? Like they have a similar situation and it kind of lines up and you can come to the conclusion, or perhaps it's the exact question that you were wondering this entire time. Either way, thank you guys for showing up today. Appreciate you guys supporting. And let's get into this, shall we? There's a couple questions have began to flood in. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Here we go. To begin our Week 8 live stream, Sergio sends in the first question, says, PPR, I need 1 wide receiver, 1 running back, and 1 flex. My following options are Antonio Gibson, Devontae Booker, Robert Woods, and T. Higgins. Which 3 do I go with? Thank you very much, Sergio, for the donation. Okay, so considering you're in a full PPR scoring format, it is relatively closer in terms of where exactly I have everything ranked. Let's go to my full PPR on my second monitor. Let's look up here. Let's see where I have Devontae Booker in comparison. So I have Robert Woods there. I have T. Higgins there. And where is Devontae Booker? I do have him ahead. So in this current situation, in a full PPR scoring format, I'm playing Gibson as your starting running back. I'm playing Higgins as your starting wide receiver. And Booker as your flex. I appreciate it, Sergio. Thank you. Pedro sends in a question, says standard. Start 2 and 1 flex. Okay. So we have Thielen, Higgins, Smith, and Tony. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to play it in the exact order that you've presented it. Though I do like the idea of playing Kadarius Toney, I'd rather just go with your other options, considering they're, in good matchups themselves and they're healthy. And I don't have to worry about a potential in which they leave re-aggravating an injury. So at this current moment, Thielen's a fantastic play as your wide receiver 1. Higgins as your wide receiver 2, and play Devonta Smith playing against the Detroit Lions as your wide receiver, your flex option this week. Thank you, Pedro. True Gentleman says, pick 2. I have Deontay, Terry McLaurin, Patterson, and Mike Williams. Full PPR. Oh, that's a really good question. Holy moly. In a full PPR scoring format, it's going to be relatively similar to how we have the wide receiver position stacked right now. I'm probably going to play, Mike Williams and Terry McLaurin. Do I want to play Patterson? Sure. But I think if Patterson is going to continue to trend in the direction in which he's not getting that higher volume of targets because Ridley's back in the lineup, Russell Gage is being more involved accordingly as we progress through the weeks, then the likelihood is Terry McLaurin, Mike Williams, they're most likely the safest plays with the highest upside there in a full PPR scoring format. I appreciate it, you gentlemen. Steve Alvarez says full PPR. Bonus points for big plays. Okay, so anything that's probably like 40 yard, 50 yard, got it. I'm starting DK and DJ. Who's DJM? Am I crazy? I'm starting DK and DJM. Had CD at the flex with doubts about Dak. Okay. Do I consider Gainwell or Keenan Allen in his place? Okay, so whoever DJM is, I'm pulling a. Why is it going over my head? Who the heck is DJM? I don't know why. I'm forgetting. It doesn't matter. Okay, it's irrelevant to this question. The whole point is, are you playing Gainwell or Keenan Allen in this DJ Moore? Thank you guys. I'm off right now. Oh my God. Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know why. It's just over the head. No reason. All right. Regardless, in terms of, are you playing Keenan Allen? Because that would probably be the next option in a full PPR in comparison to CeeDee Lamb. Let me see here. When does that game start? NFL schedule, week 8. I need to see exactly what time the game starts for the Chargers today, because that would pretty much be the determining factor as to whether or not you have the luxury of waiting. The Chargers play in the afternoon slate. So if you're on the East Coast, it starts at 4:05. If you're on the West Coast, it starts at 1:05. I would say you're going to probably just try to make it a toss-up between Keenan Allen and CeeDee Lamb. Considering you have such a good option in Keenan Allen, I'd probably just play him. And it's not worth waiting up until the last second of Sunday Night Football to hope that CeeDee Lamb is ready to go and, the ultimate great play. But with that said, as you can see on screen, I do have CeeDee Lamb dropping to number 18. So if he was to drop to number 18, he'd literally only be one spot behind Keenan Allen, even with the fact that it would be Cooper Rush, because I still think he would be garnering the majority of the targets in that offense. So I still have confidence in him. It's just a matter of, is it the safest play? Probably not. You might as well just roll with the safer guy like Keenan. Appreciate it, Steve. All right, DeAndre Warren says full PPR, flex Ridley or Cordero Patterson / Tony. To be totally honest, I'm going to play Cordero Patterson in that scenario. I played Patterson, Ridley, Tony in that exact order. Thank you, DeAndre. All right, to the next question. Where are we at here? Okay. Brandon sends in a question, says half PPR, Darrell Williams or Sutton? Thanks. You the man. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I would go Darrell Williams. I think Darrell Williams is a very talented running back, and currently the offense needs to continue to establish the run and keep the ball in the direction of the Chiefs offense. They cannot be turning it over, and in order to go ahead and keep the ball out of Mahomes' hands so he can not sabotage the entire offensive scheme, they'll be running it far more this week. And I don't think it'll be as difficult for them as in weeks past to run the ball. So Darrell Williams is my suggestion in that capacity. Let's see here. A Parchment sends in a donation, but there wasn't a question attached to it. Let me see if I can find it in the chat. I'm trying to use the find function. Okay, it says full PPR. Oh yeah, so full PPR. Darrell Williams or Keenan Allen. All right, let me go to my flex. Where is Keenan Allen in this list? So we have Darrell Williams there, and then we have Keenan Allen below him. Yeah, okay. So I'm playing Darrell Williams in a full PPR there. A Parchment. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Chris Nort sends in a question. Says, good morning, Andrew. Patterson or Allen, half PPR. Thank you. I'd play Patterson this week in a half PPR over Keenan Allen. Thank you very much. Alejandro Gonzalez says, start 2.5 PPR. We have Pittman, Lamb, Damian Harris, Claypool. All right. Considering you have other alternative options, which are actually quite good, I think Damian Harris is an automatic play. No doubt about it in my mind. And then the following option is between one of those 3 wide receivers. Now, in specific scenarios, you could gamble it and risk it and maybe just hold on to CeeDee Lamb and throw him out there and just play him regardless. If you are worried about that and you don't want to play CeeDee Lamb, in conjunction with Cooper Rush this afternoon or tonight on Sunday Night Football, then your next best option would be, as you can see it on screen, I'm playing Pittman over Claypool, as Pittman is my number 21 wide receiver going into the week. Thank you very much. Again, just want to remind you guys, for those of you who just showed up, everything in terms of half PPR rankings updated are right over there. So if you're wondering between 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 2 quarterbacks, 2 tight ends, who you should play one over the other, hopefully the rankings to the left side of the screen can answer that for you. All right, moving on. We have KJ saying Bucs defense or the Steelers defense. Oh man, that's a great question. I'm probably gonna roll with. What do I have higher in my rankings? I was gonna say I'm probably rolling with the Bucs. I have Tampa Bay at 4 and I have Pittsburgh at 6. That's my current rankings for that. So I'd roll with the Bucs. Thank you. Matthew Kroll says half PPR flex. Pick 2: Robert Woods, Kadarius Toney, Alex Collins. That's a really good question. I'm probably going Robert Woods and Alex Collins, though I do believe Kadarius Toney is a good play this week. With Sterling Shepard being active, it is going to be very interesting to see which of the 2 of them is going to garner the most targets in that respective offense, because they're both playing in a similar position in the offense as a slot receiver role. So for right now, I think in a half PPR, when you're looking for that touchdown upside, you can't rely so much on the receptions. Alex Collins and Robert Woods probably give you a better floor option in terms of that scoring format. Thank you. Kenneth Williams says, full PPR flex. We have Claypool, Gibson, or Jerry Jeudy. That's a great question. I think Jerry Jeudy pretty much is kind of wait and let's see what happens with him this week, because I know the coaching staff did say that he was sore on Friday. There was a potential that he didn't even get pulled off of the injured reserve, though they had mentioned multiple times that he was going to play. Let's go ahead and wait on him. It's going to be between Claypool and Gibson in my mind. What is it? Claypool's playing against the Cleveland Browns defense, and man, it's a good matchup. It really is. It's just a matter of whether Big Ben can get him in a scenario in which he can kind of expand his role and just get himself more overall opportunity. What do I have him ranked in a full PPR? I have, where the heck, Claypool's here, and Gibby's a little bit higher. Yeah, I'm probably going to, look, the thing about Gibson is that if he doesn't score a touchdown, he's practically unplayable, because he doesn't get enough PPR work, and his work on the ground hasn't solidified himself as a, for sure, like, oh, I'm going to get 80 yards here and 40 yards to the receiving game and just be a decent option. That risk alone is scary, and that's why I have Gibson and Claypool pretty close in my full PPR rankings. I don't mind playing Claypool, but if it's my team, I'm probably just rolling with Gibson there. Appreciate it. King Prowl says, flex, half PPR, Zach Moss, CJ Uzama. We have Myles Gaskin, Sterling Shepard, or Higgins. All right, in a half PPR scoring format, especially at the flex position, I typically want to play the running back. I don't want to play Uzama there. Even though he does have touchdown upside, it's just like, if he's only going to catch the ball 5 times and score 3 touchdowns, it's not the easiest automatic spot start in comparison to players that, based on matchup, could end up getting a little bit more opportunity, either whether it's killing the clock with Zach Moss or garbage time with Myles Gaskin. Makes a pretty interesting thing here. Okay, so it's between Higgins and Moss. Where do I have Higgins here in terms of my rankings? I'm pretty sure I have Higgins slightly ahead of Moss. Just need to confirm it. Higgins at 45. We have, where's Zach Moss? Yeah, a little bit below him. Yeah, okay, that's what we're rolling with. We're rolling with T. Higgins today. That is my suggestion right there, King Pro. Appreciate it. Andy Wardlaw says, start Herbert, Gainwell, Michael Carter, or Mitchell. Also, okay, so between those those specific running backs, if we're talking about half PPR, as you can see over there, we currently have, of those available options that you mentioned, Elijah Mitchell, Khalil Herbert as the number 1 and 2 option. But again, it would be Elijah Mitchell would be my number 1 suggestion of that group. So we go Mitchell there. Even if it is a full PPR, I probably still run with Mitchell, but just slightly. I mean, it is, back-to-back with him and Herbert, but I probably still run Mitchell there because obviously Trent Williams comes back. The offense is going to be a little bit more in a solid position, especially considering Khalil Mack is not on the opposite side of the ball tonight because he will be missing the game. Also, need a wide receiver for the rest of the season. Who should I pick up? We have, what do we have? Devonta Smith, Marvin Jones, Kadarius Toney, Rashad Bateman, Odell Beckham. In terms of rest of season, it really is between Smith, Marvin Jones, and Kadarius Toney. I'd say that your best option in a half PPR scoring format is most likely Marvin Jones because he has the consistency. He doesn't have the fluctuation based on being a rookie and being in that kind of a scenario. He's going to be the number 1 in that offense respectively. And though Devonta Smith should be, the number 1 of that offense is Jalen Hurts' legs, and that'll continue to be the case probably for the rest of the season. So I probably just lean with Marvin Jones there. A lot of touchdown upside as well with that. All right, Jose Cruz says, full PPR, pick 2. We have Ridley, Terry, Amari, Javonte, and Judy. I'm going to play the 2 wide receivers that you first and foremost mentioned, Terry McLaurin and Calvin Ridley. Thank you very much, Jose. Mario says, should I start Hubbard, Herbert, or Sanders at the flex? Even if it's a full PPR, I'm fairly certain I'm still starting Khalil Herbert of the Chicago Bears over both of those options. So I'm going to play Khalil Herbert at the flex there. I mean, he's coming off a week in which he ran for over 100 yards against Tampa Bay's defense. For the last 3 consecutive weeks, he's had at least 75 rushing yards. So the consistency's been there, the opportunity's been there, and obviously going to be running the ball because that's what their offense is predicated on, because they cannot let Justin Fields throw the ball unless they're trying to let the game get out of hand. All right, let's see here. We have a question that came in from Abhishek. Says, thoughts on my team? We have a full PPR: Mahomes, Kamara, Darrell Williams, Adam Thielen, Deebo Samuel. Wow. Travis Kelce, Khalil Herbert, Randall Cobb, Rams defense. Bench has David Johnson, Gaskin, and Saquon. I mean, once in fact Saquon does return, obviously Darrell Williams will disappear because the CEH's return from the injured reserve as well. I mean, Saquon did practice a couple times this week, which means that he has a very good chance of returning next week and ending up making your team even that much better. Kamara, Saquon, Kelce, Deebo, and Adam Thielen. Whew. Obviously, your flex is going to be the thing that fluctuates the most, and having Gaskin and David Johnson hopefully take over Herbert when Montgomery comes back is going to leave you in a pretty good spot. But obviously, you're going to have to fill in for Cobb, as I don't think Cobb every single week is going to be able to put up 2 touchdowns like he did on Thursday night. But either way, good looking team overall, and looks like you're starting it the right way this week. Skizzy sends an donation, says, half PPR, 2 wide receivers in a flex. We have Diggs, Devonta Smith. We have Amari Cooper, Melvin Gordon III. Okay, so as of those 2 options, we need 2 wide receivers and a flex. I'm probably starting all 3 receiving options. Diggs and Amari as your. So this is what I would do. You don't have any other. Yeah, no, I'm just playing all 3 wide receivers. I'd go with that. I play Diggs, Devonta, and Amari. You had a follow-up question saying, also wondering if I should drop Schultz for Conklin. I have Waller, so I just need a tight end to stream. If, in fact, we get word that, in fact, Dak Prescott will not be playing tonight, then yes, I would drop Schultz. And actually, no, I don't even know if I would drop Schultz in that scenario. Nah, I mean, look, Conklin getting receptions, I mean, he's like the number, he's the number 5 option in that offense. Because let's think about it. Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, KJ Osborne, and Dalvin Cook all out-target him. So he's the number 5 option in that offense. While maybe if, in fact, Cooper Rush has a little bit of a chemistry with Schultz, could find success there. But if you want to make the switch, you could. But for now, I would say I'd probably even still roll with Schultz regardless. Let's see here. Where are we at? Okay. Where the heck did the question go? All right, so that was Skizzy. Francisco sends in a question, says T.Y. Hilton or Cole Beasley. I'd play Cole Beasley. I like T.Y. Hilton a lot. I don't know, man. The quad injury, the potential of him, I guess re-aggravating the injury during today's game is always going to be a possibility and something that is going to creep in the back of my mind. So when I look at the entire scenario, I think, I'd rather just play the guy that is healthy, safer, and in a very good matchup against Miami secondary. So I'm good to go with just Beasley there. Carlos Herrera. So Carlos sends in a question, says, start Tony or Cooks? I'm playing Brandon Cooks. For some reason, the Rams, they do like to give up a lot of garbage time. They're a bend but don't break kind of defense. They're going to let you go down to the 10-yard line, and then they're going to force you to kick a field goal. For right now, I just play Brandon Cooks. I think there's a lot of potential to be had there. Albert says, love the content. I'm 6-1 this year. Good luck, everyone. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Albert. Stephen Drakes says, half PPR. I need one in a flex. Okay, we have David Johnson and Gaskin and Kadarius Toney. Okay. I mean, it's probably Toney and Myles Gaskin in that scenario. I like David Johnson. I just don't know if it's going to be an automatic, clean sweep of points. He's talented, but it's the Houston Texans, guys, and that's what scares me. I at least feel more confident in the idea that Myles Gaskin is going to get good, volume of garbage time, mainly because no one's going to contest his PPR work. And though David Johnson has been the receiving back for this team in Houston, Phillip Lindsay is a talented back and can very easily come in and take points away. And that's what scares me. So for now, I'm just going to roll with Gaskin and Toney there. And then you had a follow-up question saying, also I need 2, Evans, Godwin, Judy, Sutton. Thanks, man. Yeah, I'd probably go with both of those Tampa Bay wide receivers. Tom Brady's going to have to throw touchdowns, and hopefully they won't all be to Gronk or Leonard Fournette, and Evans and Godwin can at least split enough value to find themselves in a good position there. So I just go with the 2 Tampa Bay guys, Evans and Godwin. Thank you, Steven. All right, Grind for Fun Streamer says, Michael Carter or Brandon Bolden, half PPR. I play Michael Carter there. I mean, there's always a chance that he ends up falling into the end zone like he has in weeks prior, and he's going to get as much PPR work as Brandon Bolden, so Carter's the play there. Travis Brown says Higbee or Hunter Henry. They are both in really good positions. I mean, I think Hunter Henry plays against the fourth, the fourth easiest matchup at the tight end position, and Tyler Higbee plays against the second easiest matchup at the tight end position. The only thing that makes me lean in the direction of Hunter Henry is the fact that he's had 4 consecutive weeks of a receiving touchdown. He is a huge option down there, and plays against his former team. You always like the revenge game narrative, and that's what I'm rolling with this week, as I'll play Hunter Henry over Higbee. Thank you. Fabian says, I appreciate your knowledge and your time, bro. 100%. Patterson or Mitchell, full PPR. I ask because of both. I ask because of both situations. What situations? Either way, thank you very much. Patterson or Mitchell? In my opinion, it's Patterson. I do think that Mitchell does have a lot of upside for value. Could very easily get himself 80-plus rushing yards and a touchdown to solidify himself 14 points. But I think Patterson in a full PPR, as long as he's peppered with a couple targets, could do that in his sleep and has that much more upside against Carolina today. So Patterson's my suggestion in a full PPR. Even in a full PPR, I move him from, he moves up in the rankings even higher in terms of in that position. So either way, Patterson's my suggestion. Thank you very much, Fabian. Hoodie Allen says, thanks for helping me get the W last week. No problem. This week's question. Okay, pick 2. For the flex, we have half PPR, Hawkinson, Lockett, Pollard. Wow, that's a good question. Okay, so Hawkinson's a for sure play, especially against Philadelphia. Philadelphia gives up a bunch of points to tight ends. I mean, there's a reason why Foster Moreau had a monster week last week, even in the absence of a Darren Waller. It's because the Philadelphia Eagles have not been good against the opposing tight end position. I don't even think it's just been Foster Moreau. I think there's been other guys that have just dominated. Just want to, let's pull this up. So they've given up 5 consecutive weeks of a receiving touchdown to opposing tight ends. Foster Moreau, the week prior, O.J. Howard, the week prior to that, Tommy Tremble, the week prior to that, Jody Fortson. I guess the second KC tight end stole a touchdown. Dalton Schultz scored 2 touchdowns. So 5 consecutive weeks of giving up receiving touchdowns. Hawkinson's a for sure play today. Now, the follow-up to that is between Lockett and Pollard. Man, I don't know if I really want to play Lockett that badly, but I think he's got the higher upside. I think about Pollard, he's not going to get the goal line work. He's not going to get those opportunities. And sure, even if Dak is out, maybe they run the ball even that much more, and they get themselves in a situation where Pollard is effectively just killing that Minnesota defense. Without a touchdown, it is going to be very difficult for me to trust him. But in a half PPR, I think I'm just going to go Lockett and just hope that, like I talked about earlier this week, the slot wide receiver versus Jacksonville has consistently torched them. And hopefully that's going to be, another week of it just lining up and figuring itself out. Man, I just, the inconsistency of Lockett makes me hesitant. But I mean, like the last time that Jacksonville played, Jalen Waddle killed them for 10 catches, 70 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Tyler Boyd has killed them 9 catches, 118 recently. Christian Kirk, 7 catches, 104 yards. Those are 3 premier slot receivers that torch them. I'm gonna roll with Lockett. Let's hope for it. All right, thank you very much, Hoodie. Josh Felix sends in a donation. No question attached to it. Let me see if I can find it in the chat here. Hopefully I'm able to. Josh Felix message retracted. Okay, here it is. Full PPR, bench 1. Jonathan Taylor, Nick Chubb, James Robinson, Stephon Diggs, DJ Moore, Terry McLaurin. Thanks, Andrew. Okay. If I have to bench 1, you're basically asking me, oh, man, this is terrible. This is a horrible question. Why? Because it's so difficult to do. I want to play every single one of those players. And in no capacity do I think one is lesser than the other by a significant margin. Now, with that all said, do I really want to sit James Robinson in a full PPR? I think I have to. In comparison to these other options, I think I have to be honest. But do I really want to sit a running back in this capacity? It's Terry McLaurin or James Robinson. And for right now, man, I think Terry McLaurin could actually score like a big touchdown, like a nice 60-yarder, actually. Do I value the consistency of a running back over the potential PPR upside of a wide receiver? And the answer is yes. So probably I'm sitting McLaurin and I'm playing James Robinson. So yeah, McLaurin's a sip. Damn, I hate it. Tough question, Josh. But again, you're in a very it's a good situation to have where you're struggling with such great pieces. But again, it does hurt at the end of the day. Paul sends in a question, says full PPR. Need a flex and an RB2. We have Chuba Hubbard. We have Emmanuel Sanders, Darrell Williams, Elijah Mitchell. Asked last live stream, but phone died before answered. Damn, that's unfortunate, Paul. Okay, I mean, either way, you could have went back in the VOD because I did post the video live and you could have rewinded it. But anyway, regardless, in order to get today's update of the flex and the RB2 that we're playing, I'm playing Darrell Williams and I'm playing Elijah Mitchell. I'm just firing up both of the top running backs you have because I know they're going to get at least, probably 18 touches a pop, and both have a lot of TD upside, which is, it's going to be clean. And Emmanuel Sanders, if he doesn't score early, the matchup is going to probably go in a direction in which they're most likely leading in the second half and not having to throw the ball as much. All right, thank you. Let's see here. All right, Mitos says, 2 RBs, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex. We have Tyreek Hill, DJ Moore, Michael Pittman Jr., Dalvin Cook, Patterson, and Eckler. Okay, great. So we're going to start Dalvin Cook and Eckler, those are your 2 starting running backs. Your 2 starting wide receivers are Tyreek Hill and DJ Moore. Done. So it's between Patterson and Pittman in the flex. I'm going to play Patterson there. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Blood, Sweat, Booze, thank you very much for the generous donation. Says, I love your work. Thank you. Full PPR. Flex Cordero Patterson, Michael Carter, or Sterling Shepard. Cordero Patterson, not even close. He's been far too consistent this season to turn our back on him at this current moment in time. Sterling Shepard, still dealing with an injury. Michael Carter has Mike White as his current starting quarterback. And though they'll both get their targets and they'll both get their receptions, I still think that Cordero Patterson not only is going to get his targets and receptions, he's going to lead the backfield and probably get the goal line carries as we've seen in weeks past. So Cordero Patterson for sure is the best play there. Thank you. Todd Grayson says, full PPR. Which is the safest play this week? Mike Gesicki or Dalton Schultz? I still think that Mike Gesicki is a great play. I think regardless of the matchup, he is... Look, the last time that they played against Buffalo, again, the reason why he didn't perform up to his normal suit of performances is because Tua left the game with an injury. And Jacoby Brissett came in, was a little bit lackluster, threw some interceptions, made a lot of critical mistakes, which obviously could have led to Mike Gesicki. I mean, I even remember there was a corner route. Mike Gesicki was wide open. Jacoby Brissett obviously he has a tell, right? He's just immediately looking to the number one option. He throws it, cornerback jumps the route, intercepted. Otherwise, it's a receiving touchdown in the corner. Diving for the pylon. Regardless, I do think that Mike Gesicki is still the safer play overall. Because, again, we don't know if Dak's playing, for sure. Michael says, good morning, Andy. Thanks for the hard work. No problem. I'm glad to be helping you guys out as much as I possibly can. Got a tough choice this week. Full PPR flex. Alex Collins, Sterling Shepard, Kadarius Toney. My brain really hurts. Smash the likes, peeps. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Michael. Okay, so if it's between those 3 options, Ridley inactive, no shot. Damn, dude. Oh, my gosh. Okay. All right. So, man, that makes Cordero Patterson and Kyle Pitts that much better, guys. Oh, man, that makes them so much more. Okay. I mean, it's an upgrade to every other piece in that offense, right? When there's 10 targets up for grabs, Pitts is going to get a little bit. Cordero Patterson is going to get a little bit. Maybe we sprinkle Russell Gage a little bit. Thank you for letting me know, guys. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to answer Michael's question real quick, and then I'm going to go ahead and update my rankings. I'll just go ahead and remove Ridley, and I'll go to the Photoshop, and I'll fix it a bit right there. So, Michael, to answer your question, in a full PPR scoring format, though I want to play Alex Collins, he's been dealing with injuries. Unless he falls into the end zone, which I think he very well could, it is relatively sketchy nonetheless. I think you find the safest overall production from one of those 2 wide receivers for the Giants this weekend or this upcoming Monday. And I think Sterling Shepard's the play in my eyes, especially in a full PPR. If, in fact, Collins is going to be splitting work with Rashad Penny as we persist, because, again, there's a little bit of an injury situation there. And on Monday night against the Saints, if they're going to alternate every drive, it could hurt the overall value of Collins. So for right now, I'm going to just lean in the direction of Shepard. Okay, so, yes, I did see the report that Ridley is out. Damn, it says personal matter. I hope all is well with him. I mean, that's the second time this year that he's missed because of a personal issue, and I hope all is well for him because that's sad. Here we go. Let me go ahead and I gotta fire up the Photoshop, ladies and gentlemen. Give me a moment. Let me go ahead and fire this sucker up. Let me go ahead and remove Mr. Calvin Ridley from here. We're going to move in a wide receiver. We'll move Marquez Callaway to number 36, and we will persist accordingly. Let's just see here. Damn, that really does make... Kyle Pitts is not going any higher in my rankings. Cordero Patterson in a half PPR, I probably still don't play him over those other guys. He probably is just a stronger number 14 on my list, just so we're on the same page. All right, really quickly, let me go ahead. Calvin Ridley's removed from the list. We move everyone up 1 spot here, and then we move Mr. Callaway in accordingly. We move a couple things here. I have to... Where is the number? Okay, so Amari Cooper. I got to put the little number thing next to him. All right, so now we're in a better spot here. Let's go ahead and update this. I'll be right back answering questions in a moment. Just got to update the visual rankings here because, again, Calvin Ridley is out today. Man, that's a surprise inactive. That's so unfortunate. Just when I thought, Calvin Ridley was going to turn it around this season, he's avoiding Stephon Gilmore. What a surprise. Nah, it's a joke. Okay, anyway. Okay, let's save this document. Perfect. JPEG. Awesome. All right, so it should be up to date on screen. There should no longer be a Calvin Ridley, and Marquez Callaway should be our number 36 wide receiver now. Can I confirm this? Yes, perfect. Awesome. Okay, let's go ahead and move on here. Big DLY23 says, if no Dak and a full PPR, do I play Cooper or Tony? Thanks for the content. Okay, so at this moment, I would play Kadarius Toney at that point. I would not play Cooper tonight if Dak Prescott's out, and I would play Tony on Monday. Thank you. Joshua sends in a question, says flex, full PPR, Waddle or Damian Harris. I'm playing Damian Harris there. Though I do believe Waddle is a stud, Damian Harris just has so much upside. Coming off of back-to-back weeks of over 100 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown, it's probably going to be another great play this week. Let's see here. Okay, let me actually check a couple things really quickly. Is there anybody else that was named inactive? Because it's never just only one player. There's like a full list of them that are... Jamal Williams is an inactive today. Oh, man. Do I have to go back and update my rankings? Who else is inactive? Julio, obviously, Corey Davis, Jamal Williams, Dawson Knox, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Calvin. Okay, so I got to go fix running back too. So I'm going to answer a couple more questions. Then I'll go and I'll fix Jamal Williams, who is currently on screen, and get him out of there. Okay. Bakari sends in a question. Says, flex 1, PPR, Gibby, McKissick, or Javonte Williams. Between the three options, I am playing Gibby, then Javonte Williams, then McKissick in that exact order. Thank you. Pancakes sends in a question, says flex, full PPR, Brandon Bolden or Mike Davis. I would play Brandon Bolden. Thank you. Abdul says half PPR, half and both full. What do you mean half and both? Oh, okay. Half for the first question, full PPR for the second question. Sorry, I had to go ahead and figure out what the heck was going on. For the first one, Ricky Seals-Jones or Jared Cook. I play Ricky Seals there. And for the second full PPR, I would play Mike Gesicki over Ricky Seals. So first league, Ricky Seals. Second league, Mike Gesicki. Thank you very much, Abdul. Pancakes sends in another question. Says, tight end, full PPR, Gronk or Pat Fryer-Muth? Appreciate you. I'd play Gronk. He's healthy. He's ready to come back. And again, without AB in the lineup, there is so much more potential upside for Gronk getting himself heavily utilized this week and getting himself that ever elusive touchdown that Fryer-Muth may not have the ability to get this week. Thank you. All right, let me catch up with some of these questions again, and then we'll go and we'll update the ranking of Jamal Williams out of there. Man, that makes Swift even stronger, especially against Philly, man. Swift might be just like he might be the top running back play, though. I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be crazy this week. Bob sends in a question, says, tough situation. I have Allen Robinson or Ayuk as my wide receiver 3. Devontae Parker is on waivers if I need to grab him. Okay, so Ayuk or Robinson? I'm playing Allen Robinson between the two. Would I rather pick up Devontae Parker and play him? No. Mainly because I want to go ahead and test out the potential of what it looks like to play Allen Robinson when Matt Nagy isn't there. He is currently in the virus protocol. He is not going to be allowed to play because he did not get 2 negative tests in a row. Therefore, Allen Robinson may end up having himself a good situation because Matt Nagy's not calling the offense. So let's see if Allen Robinson can do something this week. As for your second question, half PPR, Cup, Terry are my wide. Okay, so that's not. It's just a context play. Cup and Terry are your wide receivers. Yeah, I would still play A-Rob there, unfortunately. I mean, it is unfortunate because Devontae's dealing with injuries. Ayuk is a bum, and so is Allen Robinson, but we're going to roll with it. Mike Jimenez says, I know a defense question mark, LOL. Pick one. Pittsburgh, San Francisco, Los Angeles Chargers, or Kansas City. Let me go ahead and scroll to my rankings up here. All right, so as of this current moment in time, we have Pittsburgh at my number 6 defense. We have Los Angeles Chargers as my number 7. I have San Francisco 49ers as my number 5 defense. So that's probably what I'd roll with there. Kansas City's not on my defensive list. So I'd go San Francisco, Pittsburgh, Los Angeles in that order, Mike. Thank you. James Joyner says full PPR, flex, Woods, Devonta Smith, or Cole Beasley. I want to play Devonta Smith there. I truly do. Man, Robert Woods. Depends what Robert Woods we get this week. And unfortunately, I'm thinking that we might actually get a good one. And a lot of people may be sitting him. I'm just going to say play Woods. I do think that Devonta Smith is going to play well, but I think Woods is probably the best option in that regard. Truth718 says full PPR. We have Higgins, Sutton, Alex Collins. Okay. Between the three options there, I'm playing Sutton in a full PPR. As for your second question, full PPR, Waddle, Emmanuel Sanders, or Kadarius Toney. Damn. I think you just play Emmanuel Sanders. Yeah, I think you just play Emmanuel Sanders, unfortunately. Because I want to play Waddle. But I don't know how well he can specifically play against that defense in Buffalo. I think he'll play well, but is he going to score an ever-elusive touchdown? I mean, if it's going to be garbage time the entire game. Okay, let's put it this way. I think the safer floor probably belongs to Emmanuel Sanders. But in terms of potential upside, I think it could be in Waddle's direction. So if you are looking for that kind of a potential boost, I don't mind it. But if it's my team, I'm probably just firing up Sanders and hoping for the best there. Ankit Patel says, start 2 full PPR. We have Emmanuel Sanders, Waddle, Toney. I mean, that's the exact same question we just had, right? That's literally the same question. So in that regard, I can luckily play 2 of them. I'm playing Emmanuel Sanders and I'm playing Waddle. Want to risk it with Toney since his matchup is so good. I don't like the Waddle matchup with Parker returning. Parker does not impede his overall targets. But regardless, fully torn between the two right now. Listen, if you want to play Toney and play Sanders, by all means, go for it. I think that there isn't... I think the argument can potentially be made for playing Toney in that regard. So I don't think you're making the wrong mental decision. I think in terms of like trying to figure out who to play, it is tough. And I mean, there's a reason why I just struggled between Sanders and Waddle for so long. But nonetheless, if you want to play Toney over Waddle, you certainly can. I think they're close enough in my rankings to where it can be justified. But for right now, if it's me, I'm gonna fire up the Waddle / Emmanuel Sanders exchange there. Thank you. Tom sends in a question, says, hey, Andrew, full PPR. We have Eckler, Darrell Williams, and Cordero Patterson. We have to pick 2. If I'm picking 2 out of those options, I'm playing Patterson and I'm playing Eckler. Thank you very much, Tom. Dave Jones TV says, okay, we have a trade here. Okay, so David Johnson / Henderson for Jamar Chase and Damian Harris. I will take the Jamar Chase, Damian Harris side of that trade. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. It's probably not even David Johnson. It's probably Deontay Johnson, right? I'm going to assume that's Deontay Johnson. So if it's Deontay and Henderson now versus Chase and Harris, who am I taking rest of season? I'm still taking Jamar Chase side. Upside's too much there. I go with Jamar Chase. Thank you very much, Dave Jones. Phil sends in a question, says, is Pat Freiermuth an okay streaming option? I absolutely believe so, yes. Will Waller be okay next week, and what's up with him? I mean, he was dealing with an ankle injury. He got hurt at the end of Thursday's practice and missed on Friday of last week, week 7. So I think he'll be fine. I think they kept him out for a precautionary reason. They didn't want him to make it any worse than it had to be, and hopefully the whole week of rest will get him in the right spot. But yeah, for right now, I do believe that Pat Freiermuth is a great streaming option. There's a reason why I mentioned him not only in our waiver wire video this week, not only in our Hidden Gems video, but right now, as you can see on the rankings, he is among the top 16. Matthew sends in a question. Says, Daniel Jones or Teddy Bridgewater? I'm going to probably go Teddy Bridgewater there. Mike Gesicki or Gronk? I'd go with Mike Gesicki. Cole Beasley or Toney? I'd play Toney. I think the Giants are going to have to keep up, and Broncos can be up big quick. You think the Broncos could be up quick? I'm going to be totally honest. The Broncos don't have a defense. And for those of you who watch Broncos games on a consistent basis, you know they don't have a defense. Their linebackers are completely shot. Their defensive line is, they don't have Bradley Chubb. They don't have Von Miller. They're missing their best interior defensive lineman. Their defensive line shot. Their linebackers, 3 of them are on injured reserve. They had to trade a 7th round pick to go get the Rams linebacker. Kyle Fuller hasn't played in the last 2 games. Their defense is shot. So I actually don't even think it's going to be that much of a one-sided affair. So in my opinion, I do prefer Teddy. If you want to go ahead and run Daniel Jones with a Tony stack, by all means, you certainly can. It's close enough in my rankings to where I can see that as a justification. Nonetheless, that is my suggestion. Thank you very much, Matthew. Hoodie Allen says, Andrew, I ended up trading Lockett for Javonte since you answered my question. Okay, wow, that was quick work. How do you feel about that this week, rest of the season? No, listen, for this week, look, earlier today there was an article that I read in regards to Russell Wilson getting the pins out of his finger, which is good for his progress. I don't know where that leaves him in terms of when he's coming back, but nonetheless, Tyler Lockett, even when Russell Wilson comes back, is still an inconsistent option. I have been preaching it since maybe week 4 or 5. Javonte Williams is going to be just like the, J.K. Dobbins, Cam Akers of last year. And if you recall, they had incredible stretches of games from like weeks 12 through the Fantasy Football Championship where they won people leagues. And I think that's Javonte Williams this year. And especially considering you look at their strength of schedule, at the running back position, right now they have the easiest strength of schedule from weeks 12 to 17. So I think it's a good trade. You get running back value there. And you can ditch the inconsistency of Lockett for now. Thank you very much, Hoodie. Landon Ramirez says, I need two to play in my RB and flex. Okay, cool. Full PPR, we have Evans, Devontae Booker, and Gainwell. Thank you for your guidance. No problem. Hopefully we can help you out here and set you straight. I have to play Evans. He's got way too much upside. And between Gainwell and Booker, I'm going to roll with Booker. I think Gainwell does have himself just as much PPR upside as a Booker because they're both getting heavily, utilized in the PPR format. I just think that the higher upside of the red zone rushing attempts and that kind of opportunity goes to Booker. And even rushing attempts in general will probably go to Booker. So Evans and Booker in that regard. Thank you very much. Some people in the chat, as I can see on screen, are saying Ridley is out. Thank you very much for letting me know, guys. I've been aware of that for like the last maybe 10 minutes or so. We've accordingly adjusted that. As you can see on screen, Ridley was my number 15 overall wide receiver. I have since removed him. And I have moved up Marquez Callaway to our number 36 spot. Just want to go ahead and see here. Okay, so really quickly, what I need to do is I also need to remove Jamal Williams from my top 36 running back rankings. I did believe that he was going to play well today against Philadelphia. He is unfortunately, due to his injury, not going to be playing. So in that regard, I'm going to go ahead and fire up my Photoshop right now, and I'm going to remove him, and I'll move up the next best running back into our top 36 rankings. So give me one moment to go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead. Let's do this. All right, so if we get rid of Jamal Williams right here, we would move D'Ernest Johnson into the top 36 rankings. And would Swift move any higher? Yeah, honestly, Swift would move higher. I think Swift just becomes that much more of a solidified play. We'll move him up one spot ahead of Zeke. Okay, let's fire up this Photoshop file. All right, let me come back to this chat while this is loading up. A couple questions got sent in. We have Justin saying Elijah Mitchell or Cortland Sutton, in a full PPR. Man, I want to play Cortland Sutton there, but I think the touches of an Elijah Mitchell are just too much to give up right now. So I'm probably just going to go with the running back there in Elijah Mitchell. Lilish4 sends in a donation, but I didn't see a message attached to it. Let me see if I can use the F3 function to find it in the chat. Lilish, I don't see any questions from you. I appreciate the donation, but you didn't type in the chat either. So thank you. Appreciate it. Nathan says, in a non-PPR flex, should I play Khalil Herbert or Antonio Gibson? I'd play Khalil Herbert, honestly. I think he has just as much touchdown upside. I think he has just as much opportunity on the ground in terms of total rushing attempts. And in my opinion, Damian Williams right now, a non-factor in that offense. Khalil Herbert obviously showed last week that he could be just as vital as a potential, scoring option in the PPR format or, via reception. Sorry. Right now, I'm trying to adjust Photoshop right now, guys, for the graphic that literally sits behind me. So excuse me if I look distracted. I definitely am. So give me a moment here as I fix this graphic. And we can set that away, and away we go. Okay, we can move this accordingly. Move Ernest Johnson in. Okay, cool. File, save as. What's up, guys? Sorry. While we are waiting, I just want to go ahead and remind all of you, if you haven't checked out Underdog Fantasy, it's a good time to do so. Again, before the Sunday, slate begins, you can join the, of course, Battle Royale. You draft against 6 other teams. You select 6 players, 1 quarterback, 1 tight end, 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, and 2 flex options. You can go ahead and go after it and put together a great lineup for fantasy domination. Again, it's another way to play fantasy football. If you go ahead and use the link down in the description and sign up today using promo code Andrew, Underdog Fantasy is willing to match up to $100 of your first deposit. Again, for those of you who are trying to play fantasy a different way, of course, whether it is the props that they set, the different draft competitions that they set for fantasy supremacy across the entire landscape. It's another way to play fantasy football. I've become addicted to it as of late. I've been playing a lot of that NBA pick'ems. And though I'm not always, on the right side of the bubble, I feel like I probably have to think about what I'm going to do and then actually pick the opposite, because for some reason I'm so good that I can perfectly pick the complete opposite of everything happening. So maybe you want to just fade my opinions on that regard, but in terms of what I tell you to pick, and just pick the other options, because that probably wins you the money. Anyway, check that out if you're interested. I think I've updated it. As you can see on screen, yes, Ernest Johnson's at number 36 now. So we removed Jamal Williams, who is a surprise inactive, along with Calvin Ridley today. Okay, let me see here. What are we looking for now? So we answered Nathan's question. We're going to move on here. There's a couple questions I got to catch up, guys. So here we go. We're going to go demon time, full speed ahead. Here we go. James Grover says Gaskin or Mitchell, full PPR. We're going to play Mitchell there. Gerardo says full PPR, pick 1. Elijah Mitchell, Khalil Herbert. I'm playing, man, goodness gracious. Do I want to play Khalil Herbert over him? I think I might. Because I think that Khalil Herbert will catch the ball a bunch, I'm going to go with him in a full PPR. Brendan says T. Higgins or Brandon Cooks or Elijah Mitchell, pick 2, full PPR. I would play Elijah Mitchell and I would play T. Higgins there. Thank you very much, Brendan. Phil sends in a question. Says, where did it go? It updated and now I lost it. Phil says, sucks that I didn't start James Conner this week. Didn't think he'd meet the end zone twice, but that's on me. I got Gordon and Hubbard. How bad does it look? I mean, Gordon's not the greatest play. I would say from here on out, you could probably start, probably since week 3, you could start James Conner over Gordon every single week. But yeah, I think you're in a pretty decent spot. Both these guys should be at least 10 points, which is good. As long as they can meet their potential, you just need somebody else to exceed their potential in your lineup to get you to that next level this week. Thank you very much, Phil. Matthew Kral says, swoop Gage or play Collins or Woods? Over Collins or Woods? No, I would play Collins and Woods over Russell Gage this week. Matthew, appreciate it. Brandon Gilbert says, Sutton or Darrell Williams, flex full PPR. I play Darrell Williams there. Thank you. Dave Sports 1 says, full PPR, Sterling Shepard, Zach Moss, or Jerry Jeudy. I'm thinking I'm probably just playing Zach Moss there. Mainly because I'm thinking the touchdown upside's there. I think he can get a couple receptions out of the backfield, get a lot of garbage time points there via just running the ball in the second half. Yeah, I'm probably just rolling Zach Moss. If you are disinterested with the idea, let me remind you, Miami is one of the worst run-stopping defenses in the league by a wide margin. It's not even close. I think they're giving up the 4th most points to running backs this season. They can't stop anybody. And if you need me to reiterate some of the numbers that teams have put up on these guys. Let's see here. Cordero Patterson, 60 yards and a touchdown. James Robinson, 73 and a touchdown. Fournette, 67 and a touchdown. Jonathan Taylor, 100 and a touchdown. Barber, 111 and a touchdown. Zach Moss, last time he played against them, had 2 rushing touchdowns, while Singletary also had a rushing touchdown. Again, I think the Buffalo Bills offense is going to be running the ball in the second half and scoring touchdowns. So in that regard, we're going to go with Zach Moss. Travis sends in a question, says, my guy Andrew, We both know A.J. Brown is our guy, and he's a definite start, question mark? Yes, that's for sure. Over Mike Williams this week, question mark? Also Moss or Booker. All right, between Moss and Booker, I do prefer Devontae Booker. Am I playing A.J. Brown over Mike Williams? Yes, I am. It says it on screen for that exact reason. Because, again, let's think about what Bill Belichick likes to do. He wants to take away your number one receiving option. And what is that probably going to be? Most likely Mike Williams. Most likely he's probably going to try to eliminate Keenan Allen and Mike Williams and force him to throw the ball to Jared Cook and Austin Eckler the entire game. Will he be able to successfully do so? That's the question. For now, yes, I am playing A.J. Brown over Mike Williams because that's how it was supposed to be before the season started. But nonetheless, Mike Williams had to come out and just take the league by storm. Thank you very much, Travis. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Jackal says, half PPR flex, Thielen, Patterson, Khalil Herbert. Hesitant to play Thielen because I'm starting Justin Jefferson already. Thanks for much love. Okay. I know that you may be a little bit hesitant in that regard. I'm still going to play Thielen. But if you are hesitant, I think Patterson is, we're talking about Cordero Patterson being a great option again as well. So between either of them, dude, you can go either way. And I think even Khalil Herbert is a good play. So I think there's no going wrong. It's just a matter of capturing who has the highest upside of the three. And if we're looking at the matchup, dude, I actually do think it's going to be Thielen. Especially against Dallas. They give up a bunch of yards. They'll probably give up a touchdown or two here and there. And Thielen, he's been the touchdown guy in this offense this year alone. Obviously, Dalvin Cook hasn't been there, but even Alexander Madison's been there going over 100 yards, hasn't scored touchdowns, but Thielen has. So I'm confident in Thielen. If you want to go ahead and play Patterson, by all means, you certainly can, but Thielen is my suggestion for now. ProHype323 sends it a question, says, I have Mo Alley Cox, drop for Uzama or Ricky Seals-Jones. Yes, I would do. Well, okay, this is what I would say. You can play CJ Uzama. I just don't like the matchup against Tennessee. I do like his matchup next week, Thursday Night Football against the Jets. But with that said, I'd probably just go with CJ Uzama or Ricky Seals. CJ Uzama is a better play in a half or a standard PPR. I think in a full PPR, Ricky Seals is a little bit better because you could probably get like a solidified 8 points and you don't have to worry about it, like 5 catches, 30 yards. That's relatively easy for a guy like Ricky Seals. So if you want those like automatic, just like stable points there, if you want the upside, Uzama's the play there. So that's what I would suggest. But yes, I would be swapping Ali Cox out this week. Gucci Han Louis Han says, hey Andrew, Alex Collins or KJ Osborne this week in a flex full PPR. I'd play Alex Collins, though I do believe KJ Osborne is a good receiving option. He's the number 4 receiving option in that offense. Similar like how I talked about Conklin earlier. It's going to require a lot for him to get an insane amount of work there. The last time we saw him prior to the bye week, he did score a touchdown in overtime, but that pretty much saved his week there. Otherwise, the guy wasn't a great overall play. All right, let's see here. Moving on. Tyler sends in a question. Says, half PPR, start 2. Khalil Herbert, Devonta Booker, Gainwell. Khalil Herbert and Booker, I'm going to sit Gainwell this week. Just kind of see exactly what we're going to get out of him and how much utilization Boston Scott and or Jordan Howard may have this week. But I still really do believe Gainwell is a great play, but the other two are just better options. Let's see here. Trude Boy says, need a flex, full PPR, Michael Carter, Brandon Cooks, J.D. McKissick, Devontae Parker. Keep up the good work, great work. I'm always supporting. Thank you very much, Trude Boy. I appreciate that. Between the 4 options, I'm not interested in Devontae Parker. I don't want anything to do with any sort of re-injury or anything of that extent because I know Devontae Parker, he will force himself back from injury and he will leave games early. He's done it multiple times in the last 2 seasons alone. As for J.D. McKissick, I do want to remind all of you, this is an even week. And what I mean by that is J.D. McKissick this season, when we have played an even week, so 2, 4, 6, and now we're moving on to 8. In weeks 2, 4, and 6, he has been an unbelievable running back. On odd weeks, 1, 3, 5, 7, he has been terrible. How terrible? Well, not a good option. But I just want to mention, it is an even week. Let's talk about what he's done during the even weeks. I know this is a terrible way to talk about fantasy, but I just want to throw it out there. Because if it happens, it happens. Otherwise, the streak breaks and we're done. Week 2, 17.8 and a half PPR. In week 4, 14.4 and a half PPR. Week 6, 15 points and a half PPR. In the odd weeks, 0.8, 4.8, 1.2, 7.6. Nonetheless, just wanted to throw that out there. It may cause some, confusion to the chat, but nonetheless, if you understand what I'm talking about, very well. Either way, if it's between Michael Carter and Brandon Cooks, I'm probably playing one of those guys over, of course, J.D. McKissic. Between the two, let me even actually see. Where do I have Brandon Cooks in a full PPR? Because I do expect Michael Carter to catch the ball a bunch. All right, we have Michael Carter at number 69, and then we have Brandon Cooks way higher. I'm going to get Brandon Cooks there. Thank you. Appreciate it, Shoot Boy. Little Boy Blue Jay 619 says, full PPR, Kenneth Gainwell or Sterling Shepard? Man, that's a good question. Where do I have Gainwell? I think I'm fairly certain I'm rolling Gainwell there. I just need to confirm it. Gainwell's at number 54, and Sterling Shepard is going to be... Where the heck did I leave Sterling Shepard at? Maybe he's higher. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong area. Nope, that's not the case. I'm playing Kenneth Gainwell. Thank you. Team Reality Check says half PPR, need 2 for the flex. We have Herbert, Keenan Allen, and Hubbard. I'm going to play Keenan Allen, and I'm going to play... damn. Do I actually want to not play the running back in this regard? Against Atlanta. Let me see how bad Atlanta's been against running backs. I don't think they've been bad. They haven't really been bad in terms of playing against opposing running backs for the last couple of years. They've actually been decent. They don't really give up many yards on the ground. But they do give up touchdowns. That's for sure. I mean, they've given up... that's a lot of touchdowns as of late. All right. Do I want to play Hubbard over Keenan Allen? Yeah, let's play both running backs. Herbert, Hubbard. Thank you. Flight Zone Music says Ridley out, ... McKissic, Boyd, Boston Scott, Tim Patrick. I'm playing McKissic. You made my point. Thank you very much. Nick Kane says, would you start Daniel Jones over Ryan without Julio? Would I play him over Ryan Tannehill without... No, because Ryan Tannehill didn't have Julio last week anyway. And he was still able to have himself a great, overall productive week because Julio left the game early with an injury. So, yeah, no, I'm still playing Ryan Tannehill there. Jesse says Michael Carter or David Johnson, non-PPR. I'm still going to play Michael Carter there. Thank you. Terry R says half PPR, Deebo Samuel or Najee Harris. I would play Najee Harris in that regard. In a full PPR, Henderson or Judy, I'd play Henderson. So I play both running backs. Adam Long says, love the channel. Standard scoring league. Stafford or Cousins? I feel like the Vikings game will be closer, forcing Cousins to throw the ball. If that's the case, that's under the assumption that, of course, Dak plays. Because if Dak doesn't play, it may be a blowout. And if it is a blowout, then maybe Cousins still ends up having a good week. But nonetheless, I still think that Stafford he's just far too, safe in the regard that he'll probably get 2 or 3 touchdowns automatic with 250 yards. And you just have to throw up your hands and just be like, all right, my job here is done. So I'm just going to roll with Stafford. But if you want to play Cousins, you certainly can. By all means, you are the GM of your team. Jack Darjean says, start 2, half PPR. We have Kenneth Gainwell, Emmanuel Sanders, Sterling Shepard, Kadarius Toney. I'm going to probably play Gainwell and Sanders, and I'm leaving both of the questionable. They're both going to play. I'm going to leave both of the Giants wide receivers on the bench this week. Especially in a half PPR, because again, they are full PPR monsters, but in a half, I'd rather go with the potential upside of Gainwell and Sanders. All right. Sir Shifty says, if my opponent has Thielen and Jefferson, should I play Kirk Cousins or keep Dak in? It really doesn't matter because you just want to play the quarterback that produces more points. That's it. So if Dak is playing, I'm playing Dak because I do think that he's going to be the better overall play between the two quarterbacks. But if he doesn't end up playing, well, the decision is made for you and you play Kirk Cousins, you're good to go. So I'm still looking to, because again, Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen could both go for 150 receiving yards and 10 catches and be fantastic plays and not see the end zone once. And Kirk Cousins could have 0 touchdowns at the end of the game and be worthless, right? So I'm still just looking for the better quarterback. And I think that's Dak, unless, of course, he's not playing. Amani Jones says, final playoff team update. Okay, we have We have Dak, Alvin Kamara, Saquon, Tyreek Hill, Deontay Johnson, Mark Andrews, David Montgomery. 14-team league. I'm 5-2. Let's win the ship. Okay, here's the thing. You're 5-2. We're week 8. The playoffs start in week 15, okay? There's a lot of time between now and then, Imani Jones. So don't start thinking that, the championship is just around the corner. Yes, we're getting closer every single day that we, approach. But, baby steps. One step at a time. You could always improve your team. It is a monster squad, but just wanted to put that out there. Congratulations on the incredible record thus far in a 14-team league. Let's just keep it pounding. Let's go. Miles sends in a question, says, hello. Would you start Sutton or Hubbard in the flex? Depends what the scoring format is. I think I'm most likely going to play Sutton in a full PPR, but Hubbard in a half in a standard. Thank you. King Marcelo sends in a question. Let me see here. Says, Marvin Jones or Shepard, PPR, McManus or Joseph at the kicker. I'm going to play Greg Joseph at kicker. I'm going to play Marvin Jones at the wide receiver. Thank you, King. Fabian says, bro, Fant or Uzama full PPR. Appreciate you. I'm playing Noah Fant there. I have some concerns about Fant, mainly because Albert Okwuegbunam, the backup tight end, he comes off of the injured reserve. So that is a potential in which it could impede in his overall upside. I'm hoping it's not going to be the case, but for now, I don't mind Fant there in a full PPR. That is my suggestion. Big Dog Wolf says, should I trade Derrick Henry? And if so, who is worthy? If you trade Derrick Henry, you better be getting back Dalvin Cook and Jamar Chase. Like, I want 2 top 5 at each position. That's how good he's been. Like, you have to get back more than what he's actually worth, because there's no reason to move him. But if you're going to, you better get the entire, someone better, empty the clip and give you whatever the heck you want off their roster. And there's no 1-for-1 trade that's fair in any reality right now. So if they're going to give you 2 players, they better give you 2 monsters. And that's what I want. Because otherwise, I'm keeping Henry and I'm letting him run 29 times a game and break the NFL record for the most rushing yards in a season on my team and helping him lead me to the championship, Thank you very much, Big Dog. Rude music. I don't know why I said it like that. 6 point per passing touchdown league. Okay. Tom Brady or Jalen Hurts? Great question. Holy moly. I'm still playing Jalen Hurts. Mainly because I think regardless of the 6 point per passing touchdown format, I think Jalen Hurts actually plays better in the passing game today because they played Detroit. And I think if he's got the ability to use his arm on top of his legs, his upside just continues to rise, and it just solidifies him as such a safe play. So I'm still playing Jalen Hurts in that regard. Rob M says, full PPR. I need 1 running back and 1 flex. We have Darrell Williams, Chuba Hubbard, Khalil Herbert, Cortland Sutton. I also have Teddy Bridgewater as my backup QB. Don't worry about your backup QB. Leave him on the bench for now. In terms of who am I playing at running back, I would play Darrell Williams. Who am I playing in the flex? In a full PPR, I'm certain that I'm going to play Khalil Herbert there still. So I'm going to play Khalil Herbert and Darrell Williams. Thank you. Craig Newman says, what's up, Andrew? I need some help, man. With Dak being questionable, should I risk starting Burrow? I don't think it's a risk starting Burrow. I think Burrow is a great play, and I think considering you have the alternative option of playing him, you should, because you don't have to risk it. Because let's say, for example, you do risk it, and we get to Sunday night, and Dak Prescott's not playing. Do you have the ability to pick up Kirk Cousins? Do you have the ability to pick up Daniel Jones for the following night on Monday Night Football? If you do, then sure, you can go ahead and risk it. But nonetheless, I would think you might not want to push it to the limit. Play another one of these stud quarterbacks. He plays against the Jets. And then you're saying drop CeeDee Lamb for Deontay. I'm hoping you don't actually mean drop him. I think you mean like swap him instead of drop. Maybe there's the wrong word there. But yeah, I would play Deontay Johnson if Dak's not playing. And considering we don't know, I think you just go with the safe option. You just play your Burrow and your Deontay. You're good to go. Super Panda Bear 32 in the chat was saying Amari Cooper 31 ? Okay, just to give you some context there, guys. If in fact Dak doesn't play, the numbers that are next to those given players, CeeDee Lamb, Dalton Schultz, and Amari Cooper, that's what I would downgrade them to if in fact Dak Prescott's not playing tonight. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of context. Thank you. Lilish. Okay, cool. So now you actually send in the question, has the message attached. Beautiful. Pick 2, full PPR and why? Claypool, Woods, or Sutton? I am playing Claypool and I am playing Sutton. Why? Because Robert Woods is not to be trusted because he's not even... Look, when there's weeks where Van Jefferson's just outproducing him, targets, receptions, touchdowns, all of the above, that just leads me to believe that he's not necessary to their scheme. He's a distraction at times on the outside pulling coverage, but their whole thing is Cooper Kupp and running the ball. And as long as that's going to be the case, Robert Woods is going to be a secondary thought in my mind like it is in Matthew Stafford's mind. Sutton plays the easiest matchup at the wide receiver position. Claypool, the last 2 times that he's played against Cleveland, has either gone for over 100 yards and a touchdown or has scored 2 receiving touchdowns in the other game in the playoffs with Big Ben. I think they just have far easier situations and are just getting more opportunity, which is all I can ask for at the wide receiver position. So that's what I would go with, Lilish. Lester sends in a question. No message attached. Let me see, Lester, if you sent anything in the chat recently. Lester says, full PPR, Jarvis Landry, Dallas Goedert, or Brandon Bolden? Very good question. I'm probably going Dallas Goedert there. I think Brandon Bolden's a good option, and there's a reason why I mentioned him as a hidden gem, but I don't know if I'm willing to go ahead and fire him up over the tight end there. So I go Dallas Goedert. Appreciate it. Damon Smith, thank you very much, says, full PPR, flex, pick 1. Odell Beckham Jr., T.Y. Hilton, Javonte Williams. Am I getting a phone call? Kyler Murray, sprained ankle, nobody. Okay, yeah, we'll get with Kyler Murray next week. Javonte Williams or Kadarius Toney. Okay. Of the potential options you have, I'm not playing OBJ. I'm not playing T.Y. Hilton. It is between Kadarius Toney and Javonte Williams. And between the two in a full PPR scoring format, though I think Javonte Williams is a great option, the thing that continues to concern me is if Javonte Williams isn't going to see those kind of target numbers that he saw last week, is he really that good of a play? Like this season alone, okay? In the last, since week 3, he has had 3+ receptions in every single game. So 3 for 33, 3 for 11, 3 for 25, 3 for 15, and then this last week, 6 for 32 and a touchdown. With his limited amount of touches, if he's going to catch the ball 3 times out of the backfield for, let's say, 20 yards, okay, that's 5 points. Let's say, like he has been this year, he runs for 50 rushing yards. So overall, he's a baseline of 10 points, and that's why we have him as like a lower-end RB2, high-end RB3, 10 points. If he scores a touchdown, he gets into the 14 to 16 range. In comparison to a full PPR option like Kadarius Toney, I think Toney is in a line where he could very easily catch the ball 6 times for 12 yards base minimum, have even more upside for a touchdown. So Toney's probably safer floor, higher upside, and that's the play there. Thank you very much. Keegan says, full PPR, choose one. Robinson, Ayuk, St. Brown, Michael Carter. Love the channel. Keep it up. I would play Michael Carter there, honestly. He's going to catch the ball a bunch out of the backfield. He has been doing that a lot this season already. And I know Ty Johnson's there, and he's catching the ball himself a couple times here and there. But, you know, the touchdowns have been there for Jets running backs as of late. And the targets have certainly been there. So I'm going to play Michael Carter coming off a week in which he had 8 catches for 67 last week with Mike White at the quarterback position. Has him once again. Should be in a good, pretty good position here. We are moving on to Marion Garcia says full PPR flex. Evans, Lamb, Mitchell. Pick 2. Considering I don't know if Lamb is going to have Dak. And, in this position, none of us know. And you can risk it. You cannot. I would be probably risk averse to the idea that I'm probably just going to go with Evans and Mitchell because you have 2 really good options there, and I'd rather just get the points than worry about Sunday night Dak. All right, thank you. Jameson, let's see here. Jameson sent in a donation, but there's no message attached. So let's see if we can find your question here. All right, Jameson says Ricky Seals-Jones or Evan Ingram. I would play Ricky Seals-Jones, though I do believe, it's a fact that Evan Ingram has a significantly better schedule. I would certainly play Ricky Seals. Schedule is in the matchup, but I would definitely play Ricky Seals-Jones. He's just been far more consistent. Sees way more targets, and with Ingram having Shepard and Toney back, his upside kind of decreases this week in comparison to weeks past. Stray Urge says Full PPR. Flex rank, Hubbard, Pittman, Woods. I'm going to play Pittman there. Thank you. Hold up. Damn, I want to play Pittman. I don't know if I can, though. Hubbard is such a very volatile, option. He could very easily be 15 points automatic in a full PPR. I got to think about it for a second now. I'm beginning to second guess myself in this regard. Do I want to play Michael Pittman over him? Damn, I gotta actually check something. What is Hubbard's receiving work as of late? Hubbard 4 catches, 24, 5 catches, 33, 1 catch, 4. Let's go with Michael Pittman this week. Thank you. Let's see here. Jake sends in a question. Says we have a full PPR. We're playing Dak. Have Dak and Ridley. Okay, so you're in a pretty interesting position. Do I start Teddy Bridgewater or risk it with Dak? I have no other options. So you either are playing Dak or Cooper Rush tonight is basically what you're saying, right? Like, because I probably say you're just gonna go with Teddy Bridgewater unless you're willing to risk it with Dak / Cooper Rush. So there's no Daniel Jones option, huh? Yeah, I'm playing Bridgewater there. And then your follow-up question says, do I risk it with Tony or start Claypool? I just played Claypool. Yeah, I am. If you believe you're already going to lose the match, but you're like, I just need high upside, then yeah, you can maybe just risk it. But I think if you're just trying to just get the victory and you got what you have, just roll with it. So yeah, Jameson, we answered your question. We're picking Ricky Seals over Evan Ingram. Ian Judge says, who do you think has the highest floor? Elijah Mitchell or Darrell Williams, full PPR? I do believe it is Darrell Williams that has the highest floor in a full PPR, especially considering he catches the ball actually out of the backfield. Okay, really quickly. There are, how many of you in here? 870 something? 872? We have 234 likes. If you guys could, I know it seems like it doesn't make a difference, but I can assure you, clicking the like button makes a huge difference in the entire algorithmic scheme of YouTube. It's crazy how something so insignificant could be so important, but I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to helping this channel grow. I appreciate you guys coming out, supporting the channel. Right over there to the left side of the screen, we have my updated top 36 running backs, top 36 wide receivers, updated top 16 quarterbacks and tight ends for week 8 of the fantasy football season. So, click the like button. Hopefully, I think I saw something. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because I saw someone say Elijah Mitchell or Devontae Booker in the chat. Master Chief said that. Rankings are over there. I would play Elijah Mitchell over Devontae Booker in a half PPR scoring format. So hopefully that answers that question. Again, if you guys haven't checked out Underdog Fantasy, if you sign up today using promo code Andrew, Underdog's willing to match up to your first $100 of deposit. I mean, if you drop $100, they're going to give you $100. You drop 20, they'll give you 20. Either way, they're willing to match your first deposit up to $100. Great option there. Use promo code Andrew. Thank you very much. Okay, coming back to these questions because there are a lot of them, and I'm trying to catch up. I can assure you I'm trying. Just a lot of stuff going on here. Mario Gonzalez says, Hubbard, Herbert, Emmanuel Sanders, pick 2 for the flex. I'm going to play Herbert and Hubbard there. Thank you. Joe sends in a question, says, ooh, it updated and I lost the question. Where did it go? Damn, I lost it. Okay. Joe says, Thielen, Emmanuel Sanders, Keenan Allen, or Judy. I'm going to play Thielen there. Thank you. Anonymous says, pick 2. Judy, Melvin Gordon, Mooney, Chenault, Gage. I'm going to play Judy, and I'm going to play Melvin Gordon. I'm rolling with the Denver Broncos today. Thank you. Travis says, 8-man league, non-PPR start 3. Harris, Kamara, Eckler, and Harris again. Wow. Actually, wow. Okay, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to play Najee Harris. I'm playing Kamara, and I'm playing Damian Harris. I'm leaving Eckler on the bench. I know that might sound crazy, but in total transparency, he hasn't practiced the last 2 days. I know he's playing, but the last time he was, injured to an extent and limited, it was week 1 against Washington. He didn't have that much of an upside play. I think Damian Harris is just a little bit more of a standard because, again, if you're not going to get the points for the receptions, Eckler's missing out on maybe 4 or 5 points there. That is a huge swing for him. So there you go. Will A says full PPR. Need 1. Kadarius Toney, Khalil Herbert, Chase Claypool. Between the bunch, I'm going to probably play Claypool there. Actually, man, dude, these mid-tier wide receivers with these mid-tier running backs, man. As much as I want to play Claypool, I think Herbert's probably safer. Man, let's play Claypool. Let's run him out there. Bathroom Cake says, should I trade? That's just a weird name. My goodness. Should I trade Lamb, Claypool, and Mitchell for Hill? PPR? Nah, absolutely not. Keep those three options. That's just too much value for one player. Unless you're getting Henry in return. What are we doing, right? Steven says, I have Logan Thomas and Noah Fant, but I want to use one as trade bait, but I don't know which one is going to be better and which one to stretch. Which one down to stretch, excuse me. I love the channel. Yeah, for right now, I would say I think that if and when Logan Thomas returns, Ricky Seals is not going to disappear in this offense. I think he's going to be a mainstay considering how effective he has been in the absence of Logan Thomas. So with that said, I think Noah Fant is the guy you want rest of the season, and you want to maybe move from Logan Thomas. But it'll be hard to move from him because I don't think you can trade bait him technically because he hasn't played in a while. So people may not look at him and see value because typically people in your league just look at what are their box scores, what is their total fantasy contributions, and that kind of stuff, Mike Jones says, half PPR flex, Hunter Henry or Marvin Jones? I'm going to play Marvin Jones there. Thank you. Holla Brown says, PPR, Mooney, Slayton, Jamison Crowder. I'm going to play Mooney there. Thank you. Michael says, trade Waller for Scary Terry and Dallas, as in Dallas defense. If you need, depends who you're tight. Who's your backup? There's so much variable to, who's your backup tight end? How bad are your wide receivers? Do you really need a defense? These are the questions. And a lot of context could go in and probably give us a little bit more understanding as to what is the better play in this regard, in terms of should you pull off this trade. If it's me, I want to have Waller the rest of the season. But again, it just depends on what you have. If you have a solid enough top 7 tight end backup and you want to make this move, then you can. EJ Rodriguez says, salutations, PPR, Melvin Gordon or Laviska Shenault. I play Melvin Gordon. I think Laviska Shenault's probably just as safe as a floor play, but that's maybe all he is. He's just floor. He doesn't really have that much upside this season. Okay. HFL 5864 says, Gronk / Higbee. Should I be worried about Gronk's injury? No, listen. Gronk's injury was a rib. He had fractured ribs, and I think he had a punctured lung, something of that extent. There's a reason why he was out for a month. Has to do with his ribs, nonetheless. If he's healthy, he's ready to go, you fire him up. Now, if you want to play Higbee, just to play it safe, get the second easiest matchup at the tight end position. You fire him up, you're good to go. I just look at Gronk and I think to myself, without AB in the lineup, dude, he's a goal line threat at any sort of capacity, but he could also be a red zone distraction. He's pulling coverage. He's letting other people find opportunities. We'll see how they want to utilize him, but if it's me, I'm probably just rolling with Gronk. But, he's so close to Higbee in my rankings, I don't mind the opposite either. Rick says, with Ridley out, I need a major upside potential with Samaje Perine, J.D. McKissick, Jacoby Myers, D'Ernest Johnson, Brandon Bolden. Pick one, full PPR. Thank you, my guy. Okay. This is a very good question. All right, let me look at my full PPR running back rankings. I have J.D. McKissick ahead of Samaje Perine. I have him ahead of Brandon Bolden. I have Jacoby Myers. I don't really trust that much. D'Ernest Johnson. So I'm probably going J.D. McKissick in this regard. So we go McKissick, Perine, Jacoby, Bolden, D'Ernest. I think that would be the order in which I would approach it. Thank you very much, Rick. Shane Ramsey says, full PPR, Khalil Herbert or Michael Pittman. Man, I hate this is the toughest question of the day. Do I go with the mid-tier wide receiver or the mid-tier running back? And I keep going for running back because I just trust the opportunity that much more. And that's just where I'm going to go. Damn, dude. Look, earlier I went Claypool against Herbert. Now I'm thinking I go Herbert against Pittman. I could go either way, guys. I really could. Damn. I think I went Pittman earlier in this regard. I don't know. It is so close in my eyes. You could literally go either way. Yeah, let's just play Khalil, man. Damn. Chad says, 8 FFL, any adjustments that need to be made? We have Cousins, Lamar Jackson, Kupp, Devontae Adams, A.J. Brown, Ridley, Landry, Eckler, Henderson, Swift, Mixon, Schultz, Hawkinson, Bills defense, injured Christian McCaffrey. Oh my God. Kittle, drop 2, injured. Okay. Yeah, Chad, you're good to go. My God. You have a very, very solid roster, and there's no reason you should ever have to switch that up, my guy. You're good to go. Shay says, trade James Robinson and DJ Moore for Devontae Adams. My running backs are Najee Harris, Jonathan Taylor. My wide receivers are Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp, Mike Williams. I don't think you need to make that trade. In all honesty, I don't think you need to make that trade. I think if you keep the running back stability, it allows you to, even if in fact something is to happen to Najee Harris and Jonathan Taylor, your season won't go down the drain because you have James Robinson as a flex and or a RB3 swap option. So that's what I'm thinking right now. Because otherwise you have 2 of the top 4 wide receivers rest of the season. If you go ahead and potentially add Devontae Adams to the mix, it could be, potentially something that you could win in the long run. But with bye weeks and injuries to come, I think you're solid just holding. Rob M sends in a don't know, but there's no question attached. Let me see if I can find anything from you, Rob. I don't see anything from Rob right now. There's 3 instances of Rob being mentioned in this. Oh, here we go. Rob M says, full PPR, 1 running back, 1 flex. Darrell Williams, Chuba Hubbard, Khalil Herbert, Cortland Sutton. Oh, yeah, we already answered this earlier. I said I'm going to play I'm going to play Herbert, and I'm going to play Darrell Williams. So hopefully you had heard that. Maybe you sent it in because you didn't hear it the first time. But nonetheless, Williams and Herbert there. Thank you. All right, Pyro Hype 323 says Carolina, Vikings, Eagles, Browns, or Seahawks defense. I'm probably going to roll with the Browns defense tonight. Thank you. Or this morning. Steven C says 2 questions. Full PPR, pick 3, Booker, Darrell, Damian Harris, Beasley, Devonta Smith. Okay, Booker, Darrell Williams, Damian Harris. All 3 of those are my starts. Good to go with all 3 of the running backs over the 2 respective wide receivers that are also there. Pick 1 quarterback, Matt Ryan, Mac Jones, Trevor Lawrence, Taylor Heineke, Mayfield, Geno Smith. It's between Matt Ryan and Trevor Lawrence. They're literally back-to-back in my rankings. Do I have a preference over one or over the other? I think even if Calvin Ridley's not playing, I'm still comfortable just rolling out Matt Ryan in that regard. But Trevor Lawrence is on his heels nonetheless. But yeah, I'd probably just roll Matt Ryan again. Carter says Cooks, Pittman, or Sutton, full PPR. I'm going to play Sutton there. Thank you. Carolino sends in a donation, but there's no message attached. Let me see if I can find it. Carolino says potential Zeke downgrade this week without Dak, like all of last year. I mean, that you make a great point. Is he potentially going to see a significant downgrade without Dak? I think it wasn't only because of Dak's absence last year that he was bad. It was also because 4 out of the 5 starting offensive linemen were hurt for more than 8 games last season. There was no Tyron Smith. There was no Lyle Collins. Zach Martin only played 8 games. Travis Frederick, there was none. And their left guard was the only guy that was in there, and he also was out for a couple games here and there. So I think a lot has to do with the offensive line and the entire scheme and the confidence that the team had with Andy Dalton and what they were doing. So yes, there could be a potential downgrade. I already did downgrade him. I moved him below Swift in the last hour or so. But is it significant enough to where I'm not starting him? Absolutely not. I'm firing up Zeke, even without Dak in the lineup, because he would then be the hammer, and the defense of the Minnesota Vikings would be the nail for the entire game. If there was a potential in which Zeke ran the ball 25 plus times, I wouldn't be surprised. All right, moving on. Alex S. says standard Mitchell, Booker, Hubbard. I'm going to play Mitchell there. Thank you. And then follow up 1.5 PPR. So you have a premium tight end league. 1.5 PPR. And then we have a full PPR for wide receivers in that regard. We're going to play Fant, Higbee, or Lockett. Good question. I'm probably playing Higbee there. Thank you. Vincent says, half PPR flex, pick 1, Allen Robinson, Robbie Anderson, or Jamal Agnew. I mean, Jamal Agnew's kind of been getting it done as of late, huh? When I look at my rankings in a half PPR format, let's see here. Where art thou, Allen Robinson? Allen Robinson at 42 We have Robbie Anderson at 47, and Jamal Agnew sits at number 62. So I'm playing Allen Robinson there. Thank you very much, Vincent. Flight Zone Music says Wentz or Tannehill. You can go either way. I just feel like Tannehill is probably the safer guy to go with overall. But, I mean, they're literally back-to-back on my rankings, like it shows right there, for a reason. Again, those are my updated rankings, guys. For those of you just hopping in, be sure to click the like button. Those are my top 36 updated running back, wide receiver rankings. If, in fact, you see a number next to a player's name, specifically the Dallas Cowboys receiving options, Lamb, Cooper, Schultz, in comparison to the rank that I have them out, if, in fact, Dak is going to miss, I would subject them to being downgraded to the following number next to their name. Thank you. All right, moving on. We have a question from Aaron Welch. Says, full PPR, Kadarius Toney or Brandon Cooks? I'm playing Brandon Cooks. If you want to play Kadarius Toney, you certainly can. There is inherent risk in all wide receivers, but I think Cooks is a solid option today. Rude Music says, full PPR, 6 point per passing touchdown. Says, Pittman, Toney, Damian Harris, or Elijah Mitchell. I'm playing Damian Harris there. Thank you. Phil says, the Connor Gordon Hubbard situation, it just sucks that Jacobs is on a bye. Christian McCaffrey's injured, and we got no idea when he's coming back. I might need to make some trades to get anything decent. To be honest, he'll be back next week. He should be, because that's when he's eligible to return. If he's not back by next week, I'm in shambles. So let's hope that Christian McCaffrey returns. Either way, you can send me some messages on Twitter. Just DM me, Phil, next week, if anything. If McCaffrey's not available to play, then we can try to figure something out. Taha Ahmed says, Hawkinson or Keenan Allen? And I hesitate because I'm like, dude, do I want to play Hawkinson over him? And then there's a follow-up question that says, pick 2, Hawkinson, Damian Harris, or Judy. Wow. Okay, I'm playing Hawkinson and I'm playing Damian Harris in that follow-up question over Judy. For Hawkinson versus Keenan Allen, can I actually do it? Can I? Oh, man. I don't think I... Oh, man, I want to. I actually do want to. I don't know if I have... I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it. I want to play Hawkinson, but I think Keenan Allen probably just outscores him. So we just go with Keenan Allen there. Play Hawkinson and Damian Harris on the other side. Thank you. Justin says, yo, Drew. Okay, that's interesting. I don't remember saying that my name was Drew, but nonetheless, we keep it moving. I'm so mad that my team is 1-6. I got the most points scored on me. Damn. I mean, it happens. But that's why you want to go ahead and play in multiple leagues, so that if, in fact, you get, unfortunately, the bad deal of your hand, you can figure it out. Nonetheless, if you are looking to play fantasy and you're tired of your league, you can try Underdog Fantasy. Using promo code Andrew today, if you sign up, Underdog's willing to match up to $100 of your first deposit. So go ahead and check that out if you're trying to play fantasy outside of your league. Thank you. Logger says, full PPR, Josh Allen, Justin Jefferson, A.J. Brown, James Robinson, Zeke, Hunter Henry, Chubb. What you think? I mean, that's a monster squad. If you were in my league and I was playing against you, I would actually I'd pack it and be like, congratulations, Logger, you won this week. I'll see, I got to figure out what I'm doing next week. Also, what are the better matchup, Khalil Herbert or Chubb? Chubb doesn't have I don't even care what matchup's in front of Chubb. Chubb is Chubb, and that's why he plays, period. No, we don't even need to talk about it. Charles says in the chat, donated, but my message was blank. Charles, just go ahead and send your message. Let me go ahead and F3 see if you sent a question in after in the chat. Okay, Charles, so you're saying full PPR, should I play Brandon Cooks, Zach Moss, or T. Higgins? I would play T. Higgins right there. Thank you very much, Charles. I appreciate it. Don't worry. Anytime a donation is blank, I make sure to go ahead and look in this chat with the F3 function of my computer and try to figure out whether or not you guys sent in a question. Kai Tom says, with Ridley out, do I play Javonte Williams or Tony in the flex? I would play Javonte Williams. Thank you. Futuristic Old says, pick 2, Damian Harris, Cordero Patterson, Mike Evans. Ooh. Also, should I start David Johnson or Amari Cooper today with Dak possibly out? Thanks. So here is my suggestion. I would say that Amari Cooper is that much more of a significant upgrade than David Johnson that you risk it. And you roll with Amari Cooper. And if Dak's out and you don't want to play Amari Cooper nonetheless, maybe you can go ahead and pick up a McCole Hardman, a Darius Slayton, play somebody on that Monday night game. Maybe KJ Osborne on that game tonight. something of that extent. As for your first question, Damian Harris, Cordero Patterson, and Mike Evans, I'm 100% certain I'm playing Damian Harris. But now I'm beginning to question whether I want to play Cordero Patterson or Mike Evans, despite how much upside Mike Evans has. I'm looking at I'm playing Cordero Patterson. I'm just rolling with it. I think Mike Evans if he didn't have such a bad history against the Saints, I'd be like, we're firing him up every week, especially coming off that 3-touchdown game. But man, he gets double teamed the whole time. They shut him down. Chris Dente says, I have to start 2.5 PPR. We have Marvin Jones, Cortland Sutton, Jarvis Landry, Kenneth Gainwell. In a half PPR, of the possible options that you've mentioned, I'm playing Cortland Sutton and I'm playing Gainwell, and I'm firing it up. Thank you. Umer C says, Higgins, Mitchell, or Cooks in the flex. I'm going to play Mitchell there. Thank you. Sandy sends in a question, says, Fant or Goddard? I'm playing Goddard. Bengals or Bills? I'm going to play I'm playing the Bills. I think I have them as my number 1 defense. Let me confirm here on my second monitor. Bills number 1, Cincinnati number 2. So we play the Bills there. And then Evans or Judy, I'd play Evans. Thank you very much, Sandy. Let's see here. Ari sends in a question, says, should I trade Kupp for Kamara? Oh, good question. Okay. Other running backs are Hubbard, Fournette, Christian McCaffrey, and Hunt on the injured reserve. Other wide receivers are Metcalf, Lamb, Antonio Brown, Tony, Shepard. My quarterbacks are Stafford going forward. I would say yes. I would trade Cooper Kupp for Alvin Kamara. I would. Though I do believe Cooper Kupp could probably sustain his level of consistency, I just feel like it's just safer to have Alvin Kamara because I've seen a history of storied success in being number 1 overall running back potential and talent. So I would say, I'd rather just have the better running back than a wide receiver that even may score more points than him on a weekly basis. I just think it's that much harder to find a stable running back going forward. If you can go ahead and have Christian McCaffrey, Kamara and Hunt, and then have the option to just like flex Hunt or Fournette on a weekly basis, like your team's just going to be next level at that point. Thank you very much. Dark says Carter or Beasley. I would probably say Carter in even full and or half. So I'd probably just roll Carter either way over Beasley. Rockout says Michael Carter, Judy, or Callaway. I play Judy over. Do I want to play Judy over Michael Carter in a full PPR? Let's just play Michael Carter there this week. Let's see how Judy ends up playing. That kid, Nick, 2018, says, should I start T.Y. Hilton or Michael Carter now that Ridley is out? Man, it's funny that Michael Carter is just getting consecutive questions. I'm going to play Michael Carter once again. I think he's a great play today, mainly because of his PPR upside. Avdil Luma says, Myles Gaskin, Michael Pittman Jr., full PPR 12-team league. I'm going to play Michael Pittman there. Thank you. Chris Dente again says, should I drop New England's defense for the Colts defense? As for next week, is that what you're referring to? Because if that is the question, then sure. But as for this week, I think you could do it this week as well and get away with it, because I don't know if I want to play. I don't know if I want to play the Patriots against Herbert today. So I don't mind it. Yeah, we can swap for the Colts. Prepare for next week's Jets Thursday game. Sean Dean says, Tony or Gage with Ridley out. I'm going to play Kadarius Toney there. Thank you very much. Appreciate the donation. Josh Tone Manuel says, trade Christian McCaffrey for Diggs. That's a great question. Depends. Okay, let's see what your team looks like. You have Kupp, Woods, Waddle as your wide receivers and Mixon, Henderson as your running backs. Truth be told, in my opinion, I'm willing to wait out and go and keep Christian McCaffrey, because if I can get Christian McCaffrey and he's at a full capacity rest of season, he is a significantly better option than Stephon Diggs. So at this current moment, I don't think it's enough. I don't think Diggs is enough to get Christian McCaffrey off my hands, unless you're sitting in a situation where you're like, listen, Andrew, I'm 2-5, and I need to win now, and I don't know if he comes back in the future. We could have a conversation regarding that, but I'm keeping McCaffrey, man. It would be so clean if you have Mixon, Henderson, and McCaffrey rest of season just killing it. That's what I'm looking forward to. Hopefully will be the case. Alex Saunders says, Javonte Williams or CJ Uzomah versus the Jets, flex full PPR. I'm going to play Javonte Williams, just a safer overall play in terms of floor, has just as much upside of a touchdown. Moving on, we have Wonder X Boy says, Hubbard, Gibson, Harris. I'm starting Swift, Need an RB2. I'm playing Damian Harris there. Thank you very much. Again, the Los Angeles Chargers, they have given up the 7th most rushing yards to opposing running backs. Damian Harris is coming off of 2 consecutive weeks of over 100 rushing yards. They've not only given up, the 2nd most points overall to opposing running backs. They've given up double-digit touchdowns already this season to running backs. It is just a great play for Damian Harris this week. So 100% that is your RB2. Jaden Thornton says, Zeke or Chubb? Why do you got to do this to me, Jaden? Why do you have to do this to me? Do you like to see me suffer? Is that what it is? Because that's just sick. In all honesty, dude, no. Why do we have to ask this question? All right, well, based on my rankings, I am going to play Zeke over him. That's it. Done. Finished sending it. Hustler says, Woods or Harris from New England? I'm playing Harris. Not even close. Thank you. Let's see here. Mauricio Alvarez says, hey, Andrew, full PPR. I need a running back and a flex. Okay. We have Eckler, Herbert, Mitchell, Waddle, and Pitts. Wow. Okay. Good luck today. Thank you very much. Good luck to everyone today. It's going to be a very exciting week 8. As of the question that you've asked, if you're playing a running back, I'm for sure playing Eckler. If we're playing a flex, though, I think I'm playing Kyle Pitts there in the flex, especially with Ridley out. So I play Kyle Pitts at the flex. I'm playing Eckler as your RB1 or 2, whatever it ends up being there. That's it. That's the question. Thank you very much. Travis Hayes says, half PPR flex. We have Damian Williams, Devonta Smith, or Chase Claypool. I'm playing Darrell Williams. My apologies. Darrell Williams is my suggestion there. Thank you very much. Solo says, I'm late. Should I start Mahomes or Stafford? Hunter Henry or Higbee? Mahomes is a suggestion there. As for Hunter Henry and Higbee, I'm playing Hunter Henry. Plays against the Chargers. Give up the 4th most points to opposing tight ends. Hunter Henry's had 4 consecutive games of receiving touchdown. Former team, revenge game. Fire him up. Mahomes is going to play significantly better this week. Good to go. John says, standard, flex, Higgins, Marvin Jones, or Booker. In a standard, I'm playing Booker there. Thank you. Mario Lerma says, T.Y. Hilton or Khalif Raymond, full PPR? That is a great question. I'm going to play Khalif Raymond, I think. Even though I do think that T.Y. Hilton's a great receiving option, I don't know what we're going to see. I mean, is he going to get re-injured? Is he going to leave the game? That's my concern. I'll play Khalif Raymond there. Lorenzo says, T.J. Hawkinson or Dalton Schultz? Not even close. T.J. Hawkinson, 1,000%. The Philadelphia Eagles have given up a touchdown to an opposing tight end in 5 consecutive games. Hawkinson's a must-play. JT says, full PPR. Need a flex, Gibson or Jacoby Myers. I'm playing Gibson there. Thank you. Or pick up T.Y. Hilton, Beasley Gage. No. We're going to play Antonio Gibson. You're good to go. Sandy sends in a question, says, Claypool or Evans? Thanks again. I mean, I have to play Evans in that regard. If Claypool had been more consistent all year long, seen more targets, great. The thing that I want to point out, even though I am a little hesitant on Evans, in the 2 games that he has played without Antonio Brown in the lineup, he's had a minimum of 75 receiving yards and a couple catches. And this last week scored 3 touchdowns. So there's always potential regardless that Evans is just going to blow up. And that's what we have to count on, and we got to hope for it. So Evans is the play there. Teddy H says, flex. We have Amari Cooper, Leonard Fournette, Hubbard, Mitchell. Who are we playing? I'm going to play Leonard Fournette there. Thank you very much. Teddy, I think Fournette has the PPR upside, has the goal line work, has the opportunity. It's all there lined up for him, ready to go. Robbie sends in a question, says Claypool, Cooper, Mitchell, Higgins. Who am I playing in the flex? If you're playing in a half PPR scoring format, I'm playing Elijah Mitchell there. Thank you very much, Robbie. In a full PPR, I could probably rotate and roll with probably Higgins or Claypool there. But, it would basically be on, the screen to the left side as it's updated over there. Sorry, I lost, Anyway. Moving on. Lorenzo says, thank you, boss. No problem. I appreciate you continuing to donate and supporting the channel in that regard. Thank you. Will A says, full PPR, do I start Claypool or Herbert? Man, I mean, I keep getting stuck in this. I'm going to play Herbert. So I had mentioned it multiple times. If it's like Herbert versus Pittman or Claypool, I think I have to play the running back. He's just getting too many touches. He's getting the PPR work. He has touchdown upside. He's the number 1 option in that entire offense. I got to have to go with Herbert, man. Jay says Mike Williams or Mike Williams or Chase, Deontay, Chubb, Najee, Hendo. I'm confused. So are we playing Mike Williams in the place of any of these players? Because for right now, I would play the 3 running backs, and I would probably play Mike Williams over Deontay Johnson, and I'd leave Jamar Chase in there. But I don't know if that's exactly what you were referring to there. Maybe you can clarify in the chat there, Jay. Jenst says, T.Y. Hilton or Brandon Cooks. I'm playing Brandon Cooks there. Solo Dolo says, Amari Cooper or Mike Evans. I'm playing Mike Evans. Ivan Ramirez says, RB2. 2 running back mix. We have Harris, Elijah Mitchell. 3 wide receivers. We have Kupp. Okay, so Mixon, Harris, Elijah Mitchell. I'm going to play Mixon and Harris. Boom. That's your RB1 and 2. For wide receivers, you have Kupp, Debo, Godwin, Deontay Johnson. In a standard format, might I add. Kupp, Debo are automatic plays. If it's between Godwin and Deontay Johnson in a standard scoring format, I'm probably still playing Deontay Johnson. I think he has just as much touchdown upside, if not more receiving upside there. That's my suggestion. Thank you very much. Okay, there's about 14 minutes left until we finish everything out here. Got a couple more questions we have to address that were sent in. Where are we at here? Taylor says Pittman or Hubbard, full PPR. I'm going to play Pittman in that regard. Chris says, pick one, half PPR, Lockett, Collins, Landry. In a half PPR, I'm going to play Alex Collins. Thank you. Adam Davis says Mixon or Lamb, full PPR. We play Mixon there. Especially with the inconsistency and or potential of Lamb, not having Dak, I'd rather just play Mixon because it's just automatic versus the Jets. We have David asking, Ridley out. Please pick one. Judy, Claypool, or Tony. I'm going to play Claypool there. Thank you. Western Goods says GM, pick 2. Hendo, Mixon, Swift, full PPR. Great question. We're playing Swift. We're playing Hendo. I'm sending it. Thank you. Omar G says flex, half PPR, Sutton, Javonte Williams, or Chuba Hubbard. I'm going to play Sutton there. Thank you. All right, so we've caught up there. Let me see what we have. Let me scroll down in this chat a little bit. I'm a little bit higher up than I typically was. Just want to see if anybody had any questions. Or did Jay send in a question by any chance? Because I had asked Jay if he needed it or was going to clarify in that regard. Okay. Avdil Luma says Pittman or Gaskin. I'd play Pittman over Gaskin. Okay, so Jay says, should I substitute Mike Williams for any of those guys? No. I would play Mike Williams over Deontay Johnson. That's the only one that I would do. But at that point, again, where do I have Mike Williams here? I got Mike Williams at wide receiver 10 and Deontay at 12. Like, it's not significant enough to where it's game breaking, but I do prefer it. That's all I'm saying. Joshua sends in a question, says, hey, Andrew, pick 2. Amari, Beasley, Samaje Perine, Shepard, half PPR. Also have Mixon starting. Great. So if we're picking 2 out of the bunch, okay, I'm trying to think here. So this is my suggestion, and this is going to be a long explanation, Joshua, so listen up. I think you want to play Amari Cooper, but if in fact he does not play tonight, you play Sterling Shepard in his stead. So what I would suggest is you play Samaje Perine this morning, in the morning slate of games, afternoon slate, against the Jets, and then you decide between Shepard and Cooper in the night game. So if Dak's playing, you play Cooper. If he's not, you play Shepard for Monday night. You're good to go. Thank you very much. JT86TN says, pick 2 in a standard format. We have Waddle, Cooper, Landry, Tony. Oh my God. Okay. Very similar situation. I'm glad I brought it's almost identical in terms of scenario. You're playing Waddle, and if Amari Cooper's going, you play him. If not, you flex to Tony in the Monday night game. And that's it. You're good to go. Wow, it was almost identical in terms of the kind of options there. Wow. Anyway, moving on. iShine101 says Marquez Callaway or Michael Carter in a standard league. I'd probably play Michael Carter there. Yep. Has higher touchdown upside. Mark Straw says, standard league, Hubbard, Booker, Pittman. Please pick 2. You're the man. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Hubbard and Booker are my suggestions. I just I cannot avoid running backs that are getting, valid opportunities. And as long as you're going to get that consistent stream of opportunities, I am all in on their potential. That's where I'm going with. Bacon, exclamation points. Bacon says, full PPR, Lamb or Gainwell. I want to play Lamb. And if I can push it to the limit and go for it, then I will. If you don't have any other options, you may be in a scenario in which maybe you have to drop someone and play someone in the Monday night game or something of that extent. But I'm willing to do that because I do think that there's a significant enough margin between CeeDee Lamb and Gainwell to where I want to risk it in that regard. Thank you. Sean says, full PPR, Mike Davis, D'Ernest Johnson, or CJ Uzomah. That's a really good question. I think Mike Davis and D'Ernest Johnson are trap plays in the idea that, maybe they can get you 8 points, but at the same time, maybe they can give you 3 points. And that 5-point swing is deadly. With that said, especially considering it's a full PPR, I think CJ Uzomah is probably the safer play of the bunch. Even though, again, he's a tight end, very touchdown dependent. I think these running backs that aren't getting as many touches, again, we don't know what D'Ernest Johnson's going to even look like today in conjunction with Chubb in the backfield, but I am fairly certain that if it's my team, I'm rolling with CJ Uzomah there. iShine101 says CeeDee Lamb or Damian Harris. Considering we don't know if Dak's playing, I just play Damian Harris and you're good to go. Pitcher says 0 points per reception. We have Amari, Higgins, Thielen, Waddle, Judy, start 2. Higgins and Thielen are the 2 that I'm playing. I think both of them have higher touchdown upside and have better overall safety of floor in a 0 point per passing or 0 point per reception league. Standard. Thank you. Higgins and Thielen. Thank you very much, pitcher. Ryan D says CeeDee Lamb or Higgins with Dak out. If in fact Dak is out, you could still play CeeDee Lamb and find production. I honestly think there's a possibility that CeeDee Lamb, similar to last year, even with Cooper Rush, I don't know what to expect. I really don't. Maybe he comes out, he's the second coming. Maybe he's just slinging the rock and he is just killing that defense. Maybe he is. I don't know if that's going to be the case. I have no clue. So if in fact you're just trying to avoid any sort of, risk in that regard, you just play Higgins and you're fine. I have Chase already, and I'm starting Jones instead of Dak. Yeah, look, if you are already anticipating Dak not playing, then just full pivot to Higgins over CD. Excuse me. JT86TN says, I have Emmanuel Sanders, so Waddle or Sanders in standard. Ooh, no. For sure we were. Okay, let me scroll up to your prior question really quickly just so we have more context. So you were saying pick 2 in a standard, Cooper, Waddle, Landry, Tony, and now we have Emmanuel Sanders as well. Great. I'm for sure going to play Emmanuel Sanders instead of Waddle. And I would still continue with the idea that we're going to play Cooper if Dak goes. If not, you pivot to Tony on Monday night. So great. I'm glad that you mentioned that. I would for sure play Sanders over Waddle. Thank you very much, JT. Mario Lerma says, J.D. McKissick or Alex Collins? It purely depends. I was going to say it depends on the scoring format, but I think I might still play Alex Collins in a full. Let me see here. Where's my full PPR running back rankings? I'm still going to play Alex Collins in both scenarios. I like McKissick a lot today. A lot. But for right now, we're just going to roll with Alex Collins versus Jacksonville. Eric Sandoval says, we have DJ Moore and Patterson. For Jacobs, Deontay Johnson, and Waddle. I think that's relatively fair, but it depends. Like Deontay Johnson and DJ Moore, I think Deontay Johnson has better value rest of the season. As for Jacobs and Waddle for Patterson, I think that's fair. So, down the middle, ultimately, half, full, standard, it doesn't really matter. I think this is a fair trade. So, yeah, I'm good with either side of that. Obviously, getting Jacobs back healthy could be better than Patterson rest of the season, but Patterson, if he keeps catching balls, will probably kind of have the edge there. But the fact that you get Waddle in exchange as well kind of, makes it that much more of an enticing idea and makes me think it's not bad there. Switchblade Dragon says, Tony or Woods in a full PPR. As of this moment, I'm going to play Woods. I don't want to play Woods because I really like Tony this weekend, but if I have the option of Woods or Tony, I'm probably just going to roll with Robert Woods, take what I can get, and just and roll with the option. Because, again, there's always a potential, like Tony did 2 weeks back. He shows up in the game, 4 plays later, he's injured, he's out. And with that kind of risk, that's why he's as low as he is in my rankings today. That's why I'm going Woods. Final Fabulas says, no Ridley, playing Tony, Robbie, Gage, or Crowder. In that scenario, considering you don't have any higher tier options, Kadarius Toney's the way to go. Thank you. Ivan Ramirez says, one quarterback standard, Brady, Kirk Cousins, or Tannehill. I'm playing Tom Brady today. Even though it is a tougher matchup than what Kirk Cousins and Ryan Tannehill has in front of him, it is the GOAT. It is Tom Brady. He has 21 passing touchdowns this season, and he's not stopping anytime soon. So he's literally averaging 3 touchdowns per game. Imagine that. And he even had a goose egg against his former team, the Patriots. So that just tells you just how many extra touchdowns he's had in some of these games. Kenny Johnson says, Higgins, Landry, or Collins. If we're talking about a half or a standard league, or even full PPR, I'm going to play Higgins over Collins this week and Landry. But yeah, I didn't really want to mention Landry because he's not even on the list for me today. Anthony sends in a question. D'Ernest Johnson, Tyler Higbee, Brandon Ayuk, Tim Patrick, Alex Collins, full PPR. We're going to probably play Alex Collins, then Higbee, then Patrick, then Ayuk, then D'Ernest Johnson. But that's the order. I'm playing Alex Collins. El Huffster Games says James Robinson or Amari Cooper. We're going to play James Robinson there. Take the automatic value. All right, everyone. I've caught up there. We are sitting at 9:56 a.m. Pacific Standard Time over here in California. I want to thank you guys. A couple more questions are floating in. We have a question from Taylor saying, in a tight end premium league, would you play CJ Uzama or Samaje Perine? In which I would probably answer if... Let me actually check something real quick. CJ Uzama this season. What are his catches as of late? How many catches has he been getting? Let's see here. Receptions. 3 for 91, 3 for 15, 2 for 16, 5 for 95. Okay. So technically, if he catches the ball 3 times this afternoon, right? In a premium league, technically, he gets 4.5 points for those 3 receptions. If he can get an extra 40 yards, he gets 8.5 points. And if he can maybe accompany that performance with a touchdown, great. Otherwise, in a full PPR scoring format, I think most likely Samaje Perine is the better option. So it's purely a matter of, Taylor, who do we think is going to score a touchdown? And when I look at it as an entirety, I'm thinking that the likelihood of Samaje Perine scoring a touchdown is slightly higher because of the garbage time aspect. And I could be wrong in this factor, and there's a potential that it may just kill your week because maybe CJ Uzama is the one to score. But I feel like Perine's probably got the safer option there in terms of the goal line, second half, potential touchdown. So that's what I'm leaning towards. Thank you. Anthony sends in a question, says, PT to sub. Okay, so we have Tyler Higbee into Hunter Henry at the tight end spot. Need upside. I mean, I'm playing Hunter Henry over Tyler Higbee. If you want to do the opposite, you certainly can. But no, okay. Part 2, substitute Higbee into Henry at tight end spot. Yeah, if you can play Henry instead of Higbee, I think you should. Moby, play Shenault instead of Gage. I mean, I like Gage, but I don't think I like him that much. I'd still roll with Shenault there, Moby. Devonta Smith or Claypool? I play Claypool. Even though I do think Devonta Smith has a good week here. Gage or Marvin Jones? Marvin Jones. Guys, like I said, the rankings on the screen right there, bada boom, are my updated rankings as of this morning. So a lot of the answers will be found there. iShine101 says, are you bumping Danny Dimes up because Tony and Shepard are playing? No, I'm not technically bumping him up because of that. I still think that where he sits is relatively comfortable because, Danny Dimes is Danny Dimes. If he wants to show up on a week, he can. If he wants to completely disappear and puts up 6 points, he also has the ability to do so. That kind of inconsistency, especially at our quarterback position, is... that could lose you the week very easily. And that's why I kind of have him as a little bit of a lower tier in comparison to Wentz and Tannehill, who should be in a higher scoring game against one another, who are both playing far better than they have earlier in the season. So, Jay Gonzalez just wanted to go ahead and reiterate before the game start. Eckler is 100% playing today, and he is a play. Austin Eckler is very in tune with the fantasy football community. He has a show over there on Yahoo with Liz Loza. If you haven't watched it, it's pretty entertaining. Regardless, just wanted to mention Austin Eckler on Instagram yesterday specifically posted his fantasy lineup for this week. He's starting himself. What does that mean? He's playing. So if he's confident enough in it, I'm confident enough in it. We're good to go. All right, gentlemen, ladies, children of all ages, thank you for coming to the circus that is our Sunday morning live streams. We've answered a lot of questions, hopefully helped you set your lineups for this week, whether it is with the rankings on screen, by answering other questions, or perhaps somebody in the community was able to answer you in the chat. Those of you who do that, thank you very much. Good luck to every single one of you today, this weekend, and we'll talk tomorrow in terms of waiver wire pickups and how we're going to go about this entire shenanigans of a week. I'll probably be streaming tomorrow night after the Monday Night Football game between the Chiefs and the Giants to give you guys my initial thoughts after week 8. Either way, thank you. If you guys haven't yet already, check out Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code Andrew. If you sign up today using that promo code, Underdog Fantasy is willing to match up to $100 of your first deposit. An extremely generous offer for those of you interested to play fantasy football the Underdog way. Again, until tomorrow, thank you guys. Good luck, and let's hope for the best. See you guys. Peace.